Ladies and gents, hello, hello. We have the first semifinal King of the Desert 5. A best of 7. Should be a banger here, and we've got two amazing players. We've got Yo in the red playing as the Franks, and he's going to play many civilizations like the Franks in this series if he can. I believe he went scouts every single game in his quarterfinal 4-1 victory versus Tato, and so that's going to be his style. Frank's certainly the best at that. And then over here on this side, we've got Hera, who's gone Ethiopians. And while Hera is going to have a greater mix, greater diversity of openings, I believe, based on how he's drafted, he has gone for what many believe is the type of civilization you want to try in King of the Desert. We've got Ethiopians. Ethiopians can have a ridiculous opening, incredibly clean into that spearman archer play, which can punish the Franks early. Yo did a tremendous job of just delaying any of Tato's potential for early pressure and taking it to Castle Age. And I was a little surprised at how easy he made it look. So today we find out, was it the fact that Tato just didn't really have the tricks up his sleeve to be able to punish Yo for Yo's, calm, full wall style? Or is it, that Yo is just that good at it and he's going to be able to do the same thing against Hera today? Map gen's pretty hilly, so any type of army on the hill is going to have some advantages there, and it's fairly open for both. I definitely feel like this could be an extended feudal age. And just one final thing to say, first off, thank you to everyone who's watching, both on the stream and later on videos. I've been trying to pay attention to comments, and it's been nice to put in the effort to put in the cast and you guys watching it and having interest. But I want to talk brief predictions here on the styles and just brief, things overall as we introduce this series. And I really think, at least over the last year and a half, it has been Hera's style that seems to dominate Yo. But last time they played each other in an S-tier tournament, it was a 5-0 victory for Hera over Yo. And that was at a LAN event. And I remember speaking to Yo prior to his series versus Hera. And this could be I'm trying to think if it was no, it was definitely Yo. I was like, Yo, how are you feeling about the games versus Hera tomorrow? And this wasn't on stream or anything. This was just me discussing it with him. And he just goes, not good. And then he gets 5-0'd. So is there a confidence issue there for Yo? Is he out and motivated and really filled with motivation to try and get revenge here? I don't know. But I think if Hera plays how Hera tends to play, which is aggressive and clean, I think Hera is our favorite. Could see a 4-1 or 4-2 victory for him here today. All right. So, actually, what's interesting is if Hera's going for straight archers, he hasn't made a mining camp yet. He's going to go for the mill here. But you can always delay going to gold with the Ethiopians because you get plus 100 food and plus 100 gold when you make it to the next stage. Got Danny Boy, who played in King of the Desert, in chat, says he's definitely gotten better from NAC style-wise. Before his feudal age was awfully greedy, now just a little greedy. Oh, you mean Yo? Yeah. Well, I also think, remember NAC was a lot of mixed maps, and it was a 9-villager start. And my impression while casting that event was that the 9-villager start was actually so much better for Leary and Hera, because there's less variation in the early game, and Hera, for example, lost 2 villagers to 2 militia at 1 scout from Winchester yesterday. Those types of things, they're just not really possible in the 9-villager start. The 9-villager start, it just kind of escalates towards feudal age as quickly as possible. I think a longer Dark Age helps someone like Yo. So standard Age of Empires 2, basically. Okay. So, we'll see how things play out. Yo going for 19 population here. This is going to be scouts. Hera's scout is here around Yo's base. Doesn't see the gold here. Not a big deal right now because Yo's not going to be on it for a while. I'm sure he'll find it. But it is worth noting he hasn't noticed that yet. But I think if you're going to assume that your opponent's doing something, this is the game to do it. If Yo were to be going something different with Franks, it'd be a pretty low confidence decision from him. Yo gets a hit there. Yo was also just at Hera's base. Did a full circle. Notice that it was the second lumber camp for Hera. So it might actually assume based on that Hera's going to be going for scouts here. I still think Hera goes range, and then he just sends a villager to gold in a moment. because he's got a lot on wood. And yeah, he's going to go for some walls here. That's something we talked about Yo's walling versus Tato. But Hera's actually a bigger preemptive waller than Yo is these days. Like and it's expected against scouts that you would want to do this as well. Okay. So there's the mining camp coming up. Eventually we'll see a spearman from Hera. This is all pretty standard stuff. Not seeing anything that's really going to shock you. Hera coming through here. If that's Viper, you got like house, scouts trapped or something. We'll see Viper MBL later. Yo ain't got no time for that. I hate the fact that my brain even thinks about that because I try it and I fail all the time. Anyways, my experiences aren't important here. Archer range is going to be producing archers. And Yo is really not going to be in a position to do any damage here. And Yo is starting to wall up. So if he can track Hera's army, and we'll see if he spots anything, then he could maybe get his walls down this way. So I just said my experiences don't matter here, and now I'm going to share my experiences because that's important for me. I feel like it's good for you guys to have that perspective. I've been trying to gain a grasp on this meta myself, right? And an issue I've always found when going scouts is this happens. You can't do any damage with the scouts, and the archer player either has small walls or, you know, some semi-small walls, which you could consider what Hera's doing that. And then at this point of the game, we have 3 archers and a spearman go forward, and you don't have skirmishers yet. So we'll see if Yo gets his walls down on this side, and maybe a building here. That might be an archer range for him. Yeah, the Capture Age version I'm using is an old version of Capture Age because there have been so many patch changes, it has affected the game. And, yeah, so I'm not able to use different versions of Capture Age. I'm stuck with this one. It's still obviously fantastic. So I hope that, you know, it's good enough for you guys. But yeah, that's the reasoning behind a different version. That's our first real damage of the game there. That Spearman getting a hit on Hera's Scout. And Yo's now going to take a hit from that Spearman. And he's going into skirms now. But Hera's timing on this wasn't the best. He shouldn't be able to do too much damage here. And Yo's got 4 scouts. He'll have skirms as well. And now if the map is open, what normally happens is you see a stable from a player in Hera's position. Because he wants some type of an answer. As Yo's going to almost lose the skirm here. He wants some type of an answer to the skirmishers. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to delay your castle time by too much. So I think if Hera's seeing the walls from Yo, he should probably opt for just simply trying to get to Castle H here. And good micro here from Hera. I mean, he only has 2 archers. He's just going to lose it all anyways here. If I were Yo, I would have 2 of my scouts here. I think we have to consider this a little bit sloppy. But he clears up the archers, which is what he wants. And he does not allow Hera to escape. And he's getting his walls down. Yo, quick wall, quick wall, quick wall, quick, fast, gate. Okay, well, those units are leaving. That's actually good from Hera to save that scout. Also, a little creative move there is we had Yo walling with this Vil, knew that the archers and the scout could have eventually made it this way. So he actually had the Vil on this side just in case. It's just a small little thing I picked up on. Hera loses 2 archers, still is the scout alive, and Eco is set up very nicely to go to the next stage. Normally 13 farms is where you'll see a player stop when going archers. And now it's just wood and gold and archer mass. And Yo really isn't going to be able to find any of Hera's archers because Hera's probably not going to move out. There's no real reason for Hera to move out right now, unless, of course, he's being punished. And the only position he could really get hit in would be here, where he's currently making a stable. Nice job from Hera here. Hops out with the archers. Yo hasn't made a lot of skirms here. So he could have some decisions to make. Do I make more skirmishers? Do I get upgrades on these skirmishers? Because currently, Hera doesn't really know this. Hera could actually be pushing forward with this army. The skirmisher mass is so small. Yo has spent more food on skirms and scouts. Here he is, though. He's going to harass Hera's woodline. And Hera kind of wants to deal with this in some way, but he doesn't want to show Yo his entire army. Obviously, it's unlikely this army eventually breaks through, but it will do a bunch of chip damage on the Vils. And then this is my favorite thing about Yo. He knows eventually this becomes difficult, so he fortifies his exposed areas with some houses. And here, he's got to pull away. Hera's on the way to Castle Age first. And Hera's going to be in a great position, man. His archery range has been very idle compared to what you would want. Some of this is expected, but I've noticed a couple instances where he hasn't been producing an archer. I feel like you want as many archers as possible, right? But yeah, anyways, full house wall on this side from Yo. I think Hera should now expect, though, that that is the case. Yeah, the amazing scouting from Hera. This has been really good game so far. Like, the small things, too, like the scouting, the timings, timing in defense and attack, everything's been really smooth. Yo does have this gold behind his walls and the stone, but the wood lines, man. Oh, God. The wood situation is brutal for him up against crossbow. So, we are going to see more skirms. And I like this. I also like the fact that Hera has a stable. Would like to see him maybe research armor. You're not going to go long-term with knights here with Ethiopians, but making a couple knights to help against skirms would be helpful. He did at a scout. He's got the food, right? At this point, I guess you don't want armor because you're going to go straight into the other upgrades for your archers. Yo, weakens an archer there. Needs house walling here. I think he could always just build a siege workshop. Well, you would probably want that here if anything, but I think he'll go for the TC. Yo is tracking the archers. This is an awesome start to the series, guys. It's so cool to see how active they are with their armies. And Hera wants to pick away at these wood lines. Now, he might think Yo has a wood line back here, but Yo does not. And Hera, second town center, couple pikemen protecting. Wonderful. Yo, in the next stage, getting elite skirm. And these are the timings where I think Hera will win or lose this series. What can Hera accomplish here over the next minute? He's already accomplishing a greater eco at home. Is he going to be able to keep this army alive or use this army to great effect? If he gets through here, if he runs past, Yo could have some big problems. Yo's going to go kill that crossbowman. And Yo now has his skirms. Now, there's a knight from Hera. Will Hera be able to find a position here, or is he just simply going to be trapped? And the knight doesn't have armor yet. Oh, this is such an important time for Yo. I think Hera's going to be able to escape, though. He's almost taken out this palisade wall. Hera being able to escape here with his crossbowman would be massive. And he's going to try to. He breaks it open. He's going to leave now. Well played from him. But Yo has survived. He's killed a couple crossbowmen. Your long-term... It's funny. Both players are kind of playing towards units that the other civilization is good at. We have ranged units from the Franks, and then we have stable units from the Ethiopians. And this is all to counter the units that the others are making. I like Hera's eco upgrades. I like his decisions here. And I like his decision to stick around, but in a moment, Yo's going to have monks as well. So anytime the knights get close to the skirms, there could be a conversion. So I don't know if Daniel's still watching, but Daniel once said something like 3 years ago to me, which stuck with me, about like the top players. And I think we were talking about, I think we're having a conversation on like what matters more, like macro or micro, right? And Daniel goes, the thing is, the top player's micro sets up their macro. So basically he's like, the fighting is so oppressive and they're so good at keeping their army alive that they use that time efficiently to be able to basically do this. Hera's done a fantastic job here. Yo, still having brutal issues with the wood lines. This is not going to lead to a good eco balance for him. He has to go over here now. Worker efficiency last minute is incredibly incredibly low for Yo, sorry. But he's still in this game. He converts a knight there. Hera debating on running through here, and he absolutely could. Yo's going to have to abandon more resources. Hera just runs right in. There's just not enough monks, and it's a difficult game to play because the crossbowman could always kill those monks as well if you're not careful. Man, Micra's been so good. This is impressive. I feel like Yo should have never let this army through here. Like, I guess he was expecting Hera to respect him. Maybe he deleted the house to try and save the knight. Yo's 14 on food. Just 2 TCs. Not the type of game he had as Frank's the other day. And again, Monk goes down. Hera able to push through now. Hera going to the 3rd TC. Yo has not had a bad game. Just Hera's had a great game. And like, think about if you watched, the Yo Tato games. This never happened to Yo, right? He was on 3 TCs and just simply producing knights. He never really had to go skirms. This is the type of position that Yo never found himself in yesterday, and I think he's going to find himself a lot in today. Hera running through again. Now, the knights are in a separate position, so he might end up regretting this. He is going to find a skirmisher kill, though. Yo obviously can boldly move forward with his skirms now. And he's going to use his monks to convert the knights. And Hera says, okay, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm not just going to fight where you expect me. The knights loop in. And you're really just seeing how Yo is struggling to deal with all this pace right now. Hera's got almost 30 on food. This is disastrous for Yo. He's got 1,200 gold. He's got 200 on wood. Or, sorry, 200 wood. I'm sure he'd love to have 200 on wood. And this might be over. Look at this. Hera just runs away here as the knights are wrecking everything else. Yo's trying to gather himself here, but it's just so much damage. Guys, Hera has 40 seconds of TC idle time. That is insane. That is ridiculous. And the other thing is, too, it's not just that. Because I think the TC idle time is to be expected these days. But he didn't lose crossbows. He never really took a bad engagement. Every engagement has been well executed. Well calculated. And it's just a style nightmare for Yo. Because against other players, he's able to buy a little bit of time for himself. Against Hera, it feels like he's never able to breathe. Now, Hera will aim for conversion here. Nice little trick. He pulls away the knight that he thought was being converted. He kills a monk. As if this could get any worse for Yo. And Yo does get a conversion there, thankfully. Anyways, Hera wants to click up to the next stage. His eco is good for it. He's up against quite a few skirms now. So he's maybe in a position where he should produce a few more knights. I don't think getting +2 armor is needed. +2 armor against skirms. I mean, why? Your armor's already good enough. So he's not going to do that. I could see how in the moment you might consider doing it because you think, wow, knights could be even better if I got the armor. You're going to win this game through archers still if you're Hera. So he drops the 4th TC. And then you're going to have eventually extra ranges here for Hera so we can get more archers out. What did Yo even do wrong? Going scouts. Someone says Yo kind of got screwed by his map. Scouts should be really tough on these Arabias. He won 4-1 against Tato doing it. And if you listen to my commentary, I was just like, how's he doing it, man? How is he doing it? Because this is the type of experience I expect on Arabia. The best of the best, they're going archers right now. And they will combine other things. You will still see scout builds. But the scout full wall into TC thing is not necessarily something you're going to see as much of. This is Yo's last chance, possibly. And it is a style thing as well. And Yo could probably go archers too if he wanted to. He doesn't really like to do that. It doesn't suit him. We have cheap castles for Franks, villagers for Yo. I don't know if it's going to be forward or defensive. Feels like it's going to be forward. Because he will know how bad this has been. He deletes one of those knights. He's chasing down the crossbows. Yo wants to make it messy. Because he's 20 or so villagers behind. He's going to drop a castle here. And the one thing I could be critical of for Hera is just the fact he doesn't have more crossbowmen. He's really kept the ones that he had alive. But he's just now making third archery range. And this archery range here is right underneath that castle too. So it could be problematic for him. Yo really giving himself a chance here. He could maybe deny this castle with skirms. The villagers are getting one-shotted. Well, not really, actually. I don't even know how the skirmishers aren't killing vills now. I'm very confused. Anyways, It's unlikely that either castle gets denied here. Yo obviously needs to get his up. Hera's going to run in with the crossbowman. He runs in with the knights. Castle goes up for Yo. He doesn't have many skirms. He is now imping. So that's pretty crazy timing, right? Get the castle up, click to imp, so you can maybe push with trebs. Hera now in imp, though. And Hera is going to make a trebuchet, and Yo's castle will absolutely go down. And this army, if Hera upgrades it to Arbalest, is not really an army you're going to be able to stop. Arbalest with Bracer will destroy skirms, and the skirms don't get any better for the Franks. So great attempt from Yo to bring it back. And these are the types of moments, which is why Hera needs to be so dominant early in this series. Because Yo can just give himself a bit more of a chance. And if he isn't 30 vills behind, then who knows what can happen. Really surprised we're not seeing Arbalest from Hera. He has the resources for it here. You're going to see, even with just Bracer on the crossbows, that the skirmishers are going to go down. A good micro from him. You fire extremely fast. You have ballistics. Yo really isn't expected to get any kills in these types of instances with these armies. I like the outposting from Hera too. Lots of vision on the Ethiopian outpost. They now do not even cost stone. And there are some of the upgrades we're looking for. And I really think this game is over now. But Yo lost the first game against Tato, and he kind of looked bad. Like, it was similar where he tried to boom and go into Knights, I guess, on 3 TCs behind walls with Magyars. Turned it around, won 4 straight after that. Yo and Viper are both notorious for losing the first game. If it ends up being a Yo and Viper final, I'm really curious how that goes. Do they just call it a draw? Can they ask if they could just skip the first game? Like, how does that work? Hera's got a 50 population lead, 30 of which is economy. The rest is military. And Yo is getting ballistics for skirmishers that lack the final armor and the final attack. Actually, do Franks have the worst skirms in the game? I'm trying to think. It's very close. Like they're I don't think it. I think I prefer Burmese skirms over them because of Bracer, right? Like Slavs get the final armor at least. It might be tied for the worst skirms in the game. There might be another civilization that only has these upgrades. Turks. Okay, Turks don't get elite skirm. So I consider Turks to be out of the conversation. But okay, if we're just saying skirms, okay, Turks are the worst. I forget if I said worst skirms or worst elite skirms. I guess I should have specified. Okay, Turks are obviously the worst. Even though they get full blacksmith upgrades. And then, I mean, Franks have to be, like, right after that. Anyways, this castle for Yo will go down soon. Yo is known for playing on for a very long time in the first game. He says he warms up, even if it's a best of 7 and it's in game 7. He's still taking time to warm up. That's exactly what he's doing here. All that said, don't see how Hera is broken here. Hera doesn't see anything, so he's thinking, well, I guess he's hiding Paladin from me. Or some sort of cav. And that's why he switched into help. Yo said in an interview he feels better if he loses the first game. Yeah, I never heard him say he feels better if he loses the first game. But I've talked to him many times, and he said in many interviews how he just needs the first game to warm up. I think if you lose the first game as the underdog, it really removes some pressure. I say this because this has happened to me a lot. I'm a first game loser as well. But if you lose the first game and you're favorite, it does not feel good. It adds more pressure. I've been in both scenarios. Yo obviously is normally the favorite, but this is an instance where he's probably not. And yeah, say goodbye to your castle here, Yo. I mean, he's so many steps behind. He doesn't even have some of these upgrades yet. He's got 3 knights, right? This game is super over. You know what's funny? I'm curious on your thoughts on this, because, like, this has become more of a trend with Yo. Do you guys... Obviously, Yo's not doing it to be disrespectful. But do you consider it to be borderline disrespectful to not call GG when you're this dead? 4K score behind, you've got nothing. There's absolutely no way you win the game. I'm curious on your thoughts. I feel like because it's Yo, I have no issues with it. It's not that big a deal. But in the taxi ride at NAC, Vodka, who was the observer, was like, "Oh, I love Yo." He's like, "But I just hate people like that." He's like, "Oh, just resign when you're dead. What's happening?" No, I think it's fine for the first game. For the first game, maybe it's fine. Yeah, for sure. We also don't know what the players are looking at, right? Like, we just assume, oh, you should know these stats. You should know this. You should know that. Sometimes when you're so focused, you don't even look at your pop or your resources. You're looking at a million other things. Anyways, I don't know if it's fair to say the first game was a stomp, but it was pretty close to it. Whatever is between a dominant display and a stomp, right in the middle there is what we saw. And the frustrating thing for Yo is that he has drafted civilizations which do similar things to Frank's. Right? That is his style. That is what he did against Tato. And at least in this particular game, Hera was really able to push him. Now, Ethiopians really good at what they do. Really good at that type of game as well. So we'll see what Hera has left. Resources collected, way higher for Hera. Hera dominated every category. And for Yo, it's going to have to be some strategic change. Clearly, the speed is more towards Hera, right? You need some type of way to gain a foothold early or defend a bit more. And it's so tricky to do that on an open map like Arabia. You only have so many options. All right, ladies and gents, welcome. I don't know if you heard the llama go, but it just did. It's welcoming you to game number 2. And if you're worried for Yo after game number 1, again, remember, he did lose the first game against Tato. And then he won 4 straight after that in that best of 7. Yo is playing as the Incas, and one of the things that I'd said before that previous game ended is Yo needs to do something more to gain some small advantages, and he is going forward with his Eagle now. And I think normally he would encounter Hera's base. Normally Hera would be here or about here. Hera's actually way over here in the corner, which is really good for Hera, unbeknownst to him, because Yo might not find him right away, and Yo is trying to lame. Also, here's a hot take. I think we are going to see very little laming in the MBL and Viper series. Is that a crazy take to you guys? Because MBL had one of the best lames ever, and it's MBL. I think MBL will try, like maybe once or twice, but I do not think he's going to go all out laming every single game. I think he's going to play more standard there. I think he should try and lame a lot, but I think in the past when he's tried that, Viper's been able to counter it, and Yo ends up finding the Rhino. And does Hera know about this? Shoot, I should have checked his Fog of War. It does look like he knows the Rhino left, doesn't it? Because if it was a normal scatting pattern, he'd be checking here. So what you do, guys, is you just run fully to the edge of the map to the left, and you wait for the Rhino to come in your fog. Yeah, right there. He glanced it. He saw it. Okay, let's see how Yo does here. Yo will know he's been spotted. The Eagle is slower than the Scout. So, so Yo doesn't want to go towards his base because Hera could block his Eagle. So he is just running back towards Hera's base. And if this was MBL, I'd be saying that maybe he could pull it off. Yo is pretty good with it as well. I think you just attack the Eagle, honestly. Your Tatars, if you're Hera, you have more food on your sheep. Just attack the Eagle. Stop trying to block here. And sorry for the emotion behind it. It's because I think Sato could have done the same to MBL. Just attack the Eagle. Do nothing else. Yeah, this is what you do. It's like it's actually, I don't want to say it's simple, but it's the correct conclusion to come to here. You could try and block on occasion, but attack the Eagle. That Eagle is a couple hits from death, and if the Rhino hits it now, and that Rhino will eventually get the hit, it will absolutely die. But no, Eagle's a little bit faster. Attack the Eagle! Attack the Eagle! Okay, how's Yo's Eco looking? Not bad. We could definitely have some idle time from both. There we go. Eagle's going to eventually die, and that Rhino will eventually head back to Hera's base. Yo is just trying to take it as far away as possible. How you execute economically while this is happening is important. Things look fairly standard for Hera. Obviously, down one Rhino. And now the Eagle's going to die. And why is that Rhino pathing this way? Okay, so now it will head back to where it belongs, or where it started, and Hera will have his Rhino again. So, prior to this week, and I actually, there were probably lames that I missed in the earlier rounds of King of the Deserts that were used with Eagles, but we didn't see a lot of people laming with Eagles anymore because people have the faster Scout on the other side, and the Scout was able to block. It's funny, back in like 2015, 2016, 2017, Eagles were easiest to lame with because they were slower. And them being slower was helpful because you wouldn't run away from the boar, which is kind of funny, right? It's easier, like you have to weave more if you're laming with the Scout, for example. But there's a risk at laming with Eagles, and that is it right there. Great job from Hera, great defense. He gets his Rhino. And his start really isn't going to be influenced all that much, is it? He's going to be up to Feudal Age at 20 pop. Yo now doesn't have vision on what Hera's going to do. And Yo might actually not be up at that time. We'll see if he needs to maybe add one more villager here. Yo should have gone to the north with the boar and then come back to his base later. Yeah, but I mean, he's not MBL. What he did going here and then just trying to go for it is what you'd suggest if you just need to... Like, did you hear me get so upset against Winchester, with Winchester when he played against Hera? I'm still tilted by that, by the way. He had freaking Celts against Chinese, and he didn't try and steal the elephant, and it was right in the front. I don't understand. But what I was telling him there was just steal it. Don't think about it, just steal it. Hope that Hera isn't there. Hope that your opponent isn't around. And that's what Yo did. He saw it, he stole it. So, I was in the midst of a exercise bike ride yesterday, right? And I was thinking about some of the games, trying to collect my thoughts for the cast today. And I immediately thought about that Celts Chinese game in the Winchester Hera series. And I texted Dave, and I was like, you know what I just thought about? And I was like, that bleeping elephant. It was just like, I can't. Kept me up at night a little bit, not going to lie. Hera's a little late with the house here. So he's going to get Town Watch, which isn't the worst thing to have. Obviously, he has a full HP Scout. So this is an amazing position for him to be in. He's going to go to gold, so this will be archers. He didn't actually see Yo's gold. And Yo decided to do this, which is a little risky if your opponent's going archers, because this villager can't escape now unless you delete the mining camp. It actually is good for efficiency, but I try and avoid that these days because my villagers will get trapped because my opponent's normally a better archer player than me. Because I'll have like freaking Daniel on my gold at like 9 minutes because he's gone with some ridiculous build. Walls for Hera to play secure, which he absolutely should do because we seem to feel as though, or I seem to feel as though, that the Feudal Age, early Castle Age is his time. He doesn't want to give Yo any opportunities. Did find some extra goats here. Yo is left in the dark on what his opponent is doing, so he created a spearman. That could be for the starting scout as well, but he's just has to respect the fact that Hera could go scouts. Not a good position to be in if you're Yo. A risk he should have taken with the lame, absolutely. But laming can be punished. And here comes Hera, sees the archer range, and he'll be like, great, I'm doing that too. Now, Incas eventually get Arbalest. Tatars do not. We're skipping a long way ahead in this game. But Tatars getting Thumb Ring for free and doing more damage when fighting on top of hills with all their units means that I actually think they might even be considered the superior archer civilization in this matchup. For Arabia, right? For these types of games. Very rarely are we seeing games go to Imp where they're very close. Normally there's advantages already taken. So, our Spearman's gonna die. Hera's just like, come on, try and hit me, bro. They're both playing this stupid little game. I don't know why Hera's putting so much focus on the Spearman right now. He's not making anything that really is going to be countered by it, but he gets it. Now, Hera lost a couple units to a lion yesterday, so he's going to have to be careful about that. And this allows Yo to move forward. Like, I think Hera's going to end up being okay here. But it is pretty crazy to me that he's not trying to track the army. As far as he knows, Yo is in that range with everything right now. No fletching for Hera. Will come in soon. He's actually missing the gold fort right now. He cancels the archer so he can get fletching. And he notices Yo is here. And that early town watch, very helpful here for Hera. So Yo getting fletching now. Hera will have it faster, though. And Hera's going to be completely fine. And this could snowball on Yo even more. Both making archers. Yo's trying to play the game. He's trying to play the meta. And Hera currently sitting on 11 farms. Yo sitting on 9. Just small advantages for Hera. I spoke to Hera prior to the qualifier because I played in the first round of the qualifier anyways. And he... Oh, wow. That was a snipe and a half right there. It looked like Yo had ballistics. That was very good for Yo. Because otherwise it would have been 3 losses for him and just 1 for Hera. But anyways, Hera just feels like the only optimal opening, or the most optimal opening in most cases, is archers. And like, stable units are still really important, but stable units are important when you get ahead with archers and force them into skirms, right? And I agree with that, with the meta right now on King of the Desert, with how the map is positioned and with how much food there is in Dark Age, so you can get these crazy uptimes with the rhinos and the deer. It really makes a lot of sense. And yet again, we've got a game where Yo's going to have to make some skirmishers because he is behind in archer numbers. We'll see how things flow. Yo got his walls down. The next move we see in many cases with archers is a market. And Yo's going to go forward with his skirmishers. He actually went for armor as well. So his army is superior right now, as he's invested a lot more into upgrades, and he's got skirms in the mix. And this is actually... Okay, so this is something that MBL did against Sito. And I thought MBL was going to struggle so much against Sito because Sito is better at him at the straight archers. Just like we're seeing Hera is better than Yo with it. But this double range investment isn't something that the players who feel this archer opening is optimal do. They go one range to macro towards Castle Age. And just a little bit of extra army could catch people off guard, I think. So this is nice. Hera has to house wall now. Hera did have to abandon his berries. That is true. How much cheaper are the skirmishers for the Incas? Like, how much food are you saving in feudal? Can someone do the math for me? Obviously, in castle, I think it goes up by 5% as well. I'd be curious on that. Like, this is not an engagement that Hera truly wants to be taking right now because there are skirms in the mix. There's only 2 skirms, however. Very patient from Hera, very patient from Yo. And this could buy Yo some time as he kills a villager here. To be able to possibly go up to the next day. Oh, God. Actually, this is going to lose his army. But it could buy him time to get up to the next stage and house wall everything, which he loves to do. In the end, Hera's going to end up clearing all the army. Hera lost 1 villager. He's still going to have good crossbowman numbers. And Yo isn't going to have any skirms anymore. Yeah, Arbase, I'm curious to see how the Arabia meta goes over time. King of the Desert 4 was 2 militia. Players these days, as Yo runs into the town center fire there, they're not going for it as frequently. We did see Vinchester do it against Hera, though, for example. Yo needs... He needs army. Like, this uptime from Hera is just so much better. The difference from this game to the previous game is that Hera doesn't have a stable for skirms, but he's going to go Siege Workshop. Oh, geez. I don't think this is something that Hera really needs to respect too much. Yo with 2 skirmishers on their own, wandering forward, that's going to be a throwaway. Does kill an archer, which I suppose is a positive here for him. There is a sense of inevitability about Hera's gameplay against Yo. And it's just growing and growing and growing in my mind right now. And I'm waiting for Yo to make me believe, you know, that it's possible for him here today. Change my mind. Help me see those possibilities. Siege is on the way for Hera. Now, against Vinchester with Tatars, he went crossbow siege, and he lost his early siege to eagles. And Yo's starting to make eagles. However, Hera's eco setup does seem a lot smoother this game than it was in that game. Nice job from Yo here with the fortifications. Hera might be regretting the siege ever so slightly when he sees that there's double barracks and double range on the front here, because it's just going to take so long for him to break in. Stable for Hera. A couple knights could be extremely helpful. Also, I think Step Lancers is nice. I don't think he should make Step Lancers, though, because his setup is not there for long-term stable production. Right? Just 1 or 2 knights helps, but I doubt we'll even see upgrades for a while. This is all focused around the crossbows and the siege more than anything. Eagle Warrior's on the way for Yo. He's got 3 barracks. This will be Tatars on a hill. So Hera should be attack grounding between... Yeah, okay. Is he attack grounding? Normally you attack ground between the barracks and the house, or the barracks and the range. And just the reason for that is Hera even on the hill now? Shouldn't he be... I don't know what's happening. But anyways, he should be on the hill so he could do hill bonus damage. You could damage 2 buildings at once is my point. Good pressure from Hera. Yo trying to counterattack now. Make this a little bit messy. Hera notices this. He's adding another stable here. Barracks for Yo will go down soon. Yo not in an easy position to be able to really take out the army that's on the hill. Yo's counterattack runs into some crossbowmen and the knight. You can see the knights are just helpful enough to get these kills, right? And that's going to be a barracks down here for Yo. He is making another one behind this as part of a wall, and he does have monks. I could see Yo going redemption on those monks. He did the same against Tata the other day. Now, Hera hasn't been able to break through yet. There's going to be siege and monks behind here, so anytime he runs forward, it's always easy to make mistakes. This definitely feels more like Yo's sweet spot than the previous game. Because he's just got the fortifications, and I guess he has safe wood lines, and a big shot there. That's not bad. Kind of felt like the units didn't want to split there for Hera, as he goes for town center number 2. Hera's just got knights waiting. He seems to know exactly what Yo's up to here. He knows Yo's going to try these little counterattacks. And I don't think Yo is going to be expecting to be found so quickly here. I think he thought he has another 20 seconds. And he's engaging on this side, and he's going to lose those eagles. Yeah, because normally what happens is you attack there. There's a reaction with Hera with a house wall, which you see, and then you run away. But because Hera still had the knights there, Hera didn't have to do that. Ostrich has to die. Hera just likes to kill things. Attack grounds. Misses. Yo, able to breathe. Has a Vil lead. Don't ask me how. His eco is actually quite good here. Getting a relic as well. Tatars will have some awkward transitions in the long run in this matchup, guys. They do not get Arbalest. I think their best unit might be like Keshik, Cav Archer. Keshik, Hussar, Cav Archer, those units there. Yo's going to try again. I love how he continues to try here. Like, sure, Hera has thwarted these raids. But Yo continues to be a real pain. He's going to kill the sheep underneath the TC. And now he's going to dive here. Again, forcing work from Hera. And the knights have to come back. Those eagles go for the villager there. They get the villager kill. The eagles are going to have to leave now because of the knights. And then on the front, a big opportunity. And don't tell me. Oh my goodness. Hera somehow notices all this. And he'll kill all the eagles. His siege might even stay alive here. That is disgusting. Well, those are also dead knights for Hera. You could tell which side Yo was looking at. And now you can tell which side he's not looking at. Quick walls from Hera. Gets the quick walls down just wonderfully. So smooth. And they actually can trap these eagles now. So, Yo, you're now trapped. I'm surprised Yo didn't see that one coming. But obviously, this game is freaking hard, dude. This game is freaking hard. He's doing a lot of stuff. Dropping his third town center on that gold. He does get to breathe again, which is nice. Now, Hera's crossbowman will just be able to wander on home and kill those eagles like it's nothing. Still does kind of feel like Yo has a chance, though. Now, he's going to lose these eagles, right? Which is 6. But he has 4 barracks producing. He's got monks. I'm just saying there's a chance, but just moments like that have to go better for Yo. That, on another day, is 2 conversions for him. But even still, Hera's on crossbow and Hera's on knight. He cannot stick with these compositions long term. Hera's micro. And Hera's micro yet again. Just dominant here versus Yo. 1 for 1, I suppose, in the end. Yo with 18 eagles. Now, classic Yo wants an eagle spam into a forward castle. So I'm curious to see if that's how this is going to pan out. Where's his stone? Okay, he's going to... Boom. Okay, goes to the stone. I think like Yo. I cannot play like Yo. But actually, in this game, I can relate to Yo a lot. Just losing every single fight to the crossbow knight mix. And that mix for Hera is going to buy himself time for his own castle. And then he could maybe get to Keshik, which could be really helpful here. Remember, he is on stone. But the fights have just not been good for Yo. So he's got to just go for numbers. And he's going to continually try and get a bit of a raid in, which I like. Now, I think for Hera, possibly being too reactionary right now, right? If Yo runs away from a bad fight, follow him in. You killed monks a moment ago. If Hera's advancing forward, he's taking good fights all the time. The fact that he's not advancing forward is a surprise to me. But obviously he's expecting raids. He doesn't want to leave himself exposed. Like, it is also very understandable to not want to move out. Especially because he might not feel like his upgrades are there. Keep in mind, Hera's had no upgrades on these knights up until now. It's just a very good unit against eagles. And now Yo is going to see this. And I'm actually not going to switch off of Yo's point of view because I want to show you how Hera judges this, because he's going to see the eagles come in. So Yo is trying to split these armies apart. This is the natural move. Hera not expecting it. And Hera's getting raided here. And I think this is some stressful times for Hera. I guess he is house walling here, which takes a lot of work. Now, if Yo had 600 stone now, he'd be dropping the castle with those eagles and potentially winning the game. Look at those forward golds from Hera. Yo will absolutely lose all these eagles. But he's still got eagles through here at Hera's eco. So many idols for Hera, though. And Yo's got some pikemen, too. He's got some siege. Hera's at 500 stone. This is an interesting one. I really like how Yo was able to pull Hera away. But again, the trades have just not been very good. The army count, though, still is giving me hope for him. Because his army count's pretty ridiculous. He's got 11 more eagles in queue. The production's nonstop for Hera. He hasn't even had bloodlines on his knights yet. He's still stuck on crossbow. Hera's going to go over to that gold now because he's running out of his main one and he gets destroyed there. I'm not sure exactly how many he lost, but it looked like a big shot. Certainly sounded like a big shot. And now you can tell Hera's under pressure. And Yo's just going to dive because of the lack of upgrades. And that is Yo's MO here. Is just dive, dive, dive. It doesn't matter how many units I lose. I just need to make sure that Hera's under constant pressure. He takes the engagement. Now, notice how he focused down the crossbows with half of that group. That is so he can go with the pikemen. The pikemen will be that much more effective. Will Yo come forward with villagers soon? There they come. Now, Hera's been on stone for longer, but he's been off of the stone more often than not because this TC's been garrisoned. And Yo is bringing this game back. He's got monks here to convert knights. Conversions he won't find just yet. But it's the dream castle spot for Yo. It was just hanging around, man. Hanging around, staying alive. And remember what we said in game 1 when he went for that forward castle, which was basically too late? I was like, if he's closer, if the game is closer at those types of stages, Yo can absolutely get the job done. Hera's in big trouble now. I think Yo's actually in the lead. What a ridiculous comeback here from Yo. Just in, consistent raids to a fault at times. Harry, you don't know what to do. Feels like he has to fight it. Honestly, if the castle wasn't there, he would have been able to fight it. But the castle being there, and in fact it'll go up, makes it awkward. And, oh god, Yo could deny this. And Hera can't take these golds at all. And to be honest, for him, it's a rough map gen. But you know what else is rough? This gold and this stone, and this gold for Yo. All that golden stone has been forward for both. And Yo's just been able to gain the map control. Also, yo, can you please do everybody who's watching a favor and make some cameos for us? That would be lovely. I don't think he will, but I would love to see a couple cameos. Cameos are like an eagle and a pikeman hybrid of sorts. Not really, but it's a really good unit against the units you're up against from Hera. Realistically, I think he's looking more towards Imp. And so is Hera. Hera clicks Imp in what will soon be his only TC. That's the safe TC. He has built another one over here. Yo, also has 3 relics, guys. Crazy stuff. And actually, he might encounter this town center in a second, because I think he's sending the knight to the gold and to the relics. Wow, that's amazing game sense. Or he just clicked it away and happened to run into it. Yeah, so if he looks at his minimap now, he will know Hera's over there. Which is, that means that it's an area that he could raid. So Hera's going to be an imp. He could make trebs to take out this castle. But he's going to fall way behind economically, and he's not really going to have an army to be able to upgrade. Okay, he obviously has this army, he could potentially upgrade it, but that's, again, a good trade for him, but Hera's not in a position to really produce a ton more, which is my concern. Sends out some vills here versus the siege, and trying what he can as he loses the tower now. Hera's micro still very good with the crossbowman. Tough work, though. And knights are going to dive in for the monks and also for the siege. Again, Hera might end up clearing it, but Yo's on the way to Imp, and Yo has the eco to make more. Hera was ahead in this game. It could have just been the fact that he started to react too much. Yo just kept coming at him. Remember that one instance, like right before the secondary raid around this TC, where I was saying if Hera just ran forward, he would have found himself a good engagement. Can Hera continue to push back the middle area? Can he clear this up? Can he do all these things in early Imp here? He clearly wants the forward castle. Cameo Kite, by the way. The Keshiks are a very good unit for the cost. I remember Viper saying once he thinks they're actually overpowered. He thinks they're too cheap for what they are. But I think, honestly, Tatars need a unit like the Keshik because they don't get ARB. And we're already seeing the awkward transition for Hera. They're like, what do you make? You're great with crossbow, but then you kind of have to stop that. And switch into Cav Archers or something. Hera with some nice Vill picks. Yo with the defensive castle. I do not think you commit to Cameo here. You go Halb and Eagle. It is simply easier, especially because you have a food discount on all your units now with Incas. So you go for the production more than anything, as Yo gets relic number 4. Hera's going to have his work cut out for him to find damage here, because there's just pikes everywhere. And now Eagles are running into his eco. And Hera doesn't have big enough armies to be able to raid on the front and also defend like this. And Yo knows it. Look at this town center. You know it's not going good for you if you have to drop that town center. Good news for Hera is he probably only needs 1 treb. I mean, there is a world where if Yo gets Elite Eagle, he could go in and snipe this treb. That's best case scenario. Yo does have Eagles. We might see that clicked before Halberdier, honestly, because he's in such a good position, he doesn't even need Halb right now. Normally, if you're up against, let's say, 30 Keshiks, it's like, bam, I need Halb. But Yo recognizes he doesn't need it, because Hera doesn't have a lot of them. So he does go for Elite Eagle, which means that... Well, no, this castle will probably go down for Yo anyways, my bad. But still. You would need to have hand cannons, maybe, if you're Hera, which Tatars do have. I would also love to see Cav Archers from Tatars in most cases, as they're very strong. But here, you simply just do not have the time. Hera doesn't really have any Imp upgrades. The only Imp upgrade he's going to have is Chemistry, which currently affects very little. Well, actually, it affects a lot, because it affects Crossbowmen and his TCs and his castles. He has more all those things than anything else. Excuse me. I need to drink some water here. I'm worried I'm getting sick already, because when I picked up Lorena last night from the airport, she's very sick. And it kind of sucks I'm not able to take care of her today, because I'm nerding out with you guys, but it was bad enough where she told me to wear a mask, so I am hoping I do not get sick. Eagle under this TC. Oh, God, look at the idols for Hera. Hera's completely dead here. There's no way back for him. What a great job from Yo. And Hera calls the GG. What an interesting game, man. Honestly, like, because of game one and because of how good Hera can be, it really was not looking good for Yo. But the difference in between this game and the previous game was that Hera's army on the front, it wasn't really accomplishing much eco damage. Game one, Yo was leaving wood lines left and right. He had to leave his gold eventually. But I guess because of the back wood and the back gold situation, Yo is pretty much, he was content to just sit back. And he lost so many units, right? Like, he kept trying to raid with eagles. But Hera was in a constant cycle of not pushing, and it eventually just caught up with him. And, I mean, I couldn't really do this in game number one because Hera destroyed Yo so early on. You know, I almost didn't even know what Yo could have done. But in this particular game, just to give you like a glimpse of how I think things could have potentially been played, where were those eagles? Where were they? Took a fight somewhere. Okay, I'm not going to be able to find it, so the moment's ruined, isn't it? Anyways, there's a point where Hera took an engagement, which I felt was quite good, and then he brought his army back home. This might have been the moment. This is the moment, I think. Okay. So right there, remember, right before this, he kills 2 monks, okay? So you kill 2 monks, and then here you kill eagles. And then watch what happens. That happens. Now, the monk probably scared him off, but if you look at this, you've got a villager lead if you're Hera. You're building up towards a castle. Yo isn't yet, okay? You've got crossbowmen with thumb ring. You have a decent amount of knights. He doesn't have the biggest group. I can understand why he's uncomfortable. But if he forces a fight here, I don't think the castle ever comes up on his face. I think he starts to snowball some stuff and it becomes a different game. However, that's like one glimpse of a chance for Hera to prevent himself from losing this game because Yo kept it so tight and played so well. Well played. We got ourselves a series. And the score is 1-1. Quick look at the resources collected. I'm sure Yo was ahead in everything. Okay, not stone. But yeah, like the last 10 minutes there, Yo was just beasting it. So no surprise to me he collected that much more. All right, ladies and gents, welcome. Here we have Hera in the blue playing as the Gurjaras. Good timing because someone said, and I quote, "It doesn't make sense the devs nerfed the Gurjara unique tech because it was too cheap, but you then give it to Incas for free since the Dark Age." Interesting. I think it's hard to draw those parallels, right? Gurjaras make very different units. And it isn't exactly like that, but the Incas are very strong, and everyone seems to think they are clearly in the top 5 right now on Arabia. They're going for the Gurjaras. Yo going for the Lithuanians. I feel like in some ways this is a really good matchup for Hera. And then in other ways it is not. It's a tricky one. So this is how my brain's working with this matchup. Gurjaras can't make knights, okay? So that's something that is generally a little bit difficult for players like Hera. They'd love to be able to push with knights and crossbow. But Lithuanians have the knights, Gurjaras have the camels. And those camels are incredibly strong. Yo tried to lame in the first game. It failed, and then he won anyways. And here he is, and Hera has not gone for early Rhino. Looks like he was just going to. And Yo, again, with the power of the lame, well, he's going to try and steal a Rhino. He was unsuccessful the first time, but he's got a scout this time. And Yo has to be careful. He's wandering a little too far away from the Rhino. I'll go to Gaia Vision. But, oh, man. I mean, again, it's so close for me. It's freaking me out because if he goes out for a second, he will lose that thing. But that was a forward Rhino. And, oh, it goes back? No, he can get another hit on that. Wait, what? Okay, 2 hits again. Obviously means he's got a much weaker scout now, but he's going to bring that Rhino home. Hopefully for him, because at this point, if it goes back, I'm not sure you can really save it. So, viewers, what do you think about the state of laming in King of the Desert? You like the rules? You like the layout? Anything goes? I think it's super brutal, but I kind of like it, to be honest. The whole map is brutal. And the way to avoid it is you got to take the Rhino on the front early, but Hera was kind of going to do that. I think there's still a world where it is potentially too brutal, right? because there's nothing done with this script to spawn the boars on the sides, for example. Like, if it made it so it would always spawn here and here and not, like, right smack dab in front of your base, I think then it's a little less brutal. We'll see how Hera recovers from this. The good news for Hera is I think he's got one of the best civilizations to recover from laming. And now his opponent's scout is weak. And already the camel scout's going to be superior to the scout in feudal age. Part of the game unless rules state otherwise. Oh, no. I'm not saying there should be anyone disagreeing with laming as far as, you know, Yo doing it here. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Yo doing that. This is what Yo should be doing for sure. But for example, like TTL and like Hidden Cups, we allowed laming, but we didn't have the boars spawn immediately on the front. So that's why there's just differences in outlooks. Hera could really struggle here. Like, he's got to bring sheep out of his mill now to recover. But I still think it will actually be somewhat manageable. Remember, Yo did try and lame in the previous game, and he lost his eagle. And that's an example of it being high risk, high reward. Again, I think for King of the Desert, I think it is perfect. I think if that was every tournament had boars and rhinos and whatnot spawning on the very front, and the maps were like this, I think it wouldn't suit every event, right? That's just my take. We'll see if Hera can recover. Hera's going to get his goats, which is so nice now. And he's going to be up around the same time as Yo. Yo's adding militia now. And, I mean, Yo's going to have food galore. He started with plus 100 food. And then he got 3 rhinos. And then also pushed in 1 or 2 zebra. And then also has 5 goats. Yo won't need to make a farm for a while here. I really like the Man-at-Arm opening because Hera will struggle in early feudal. And all of my mid to low elo legends out there know that Man-at-Arms is the toughest thing to deal with in early feudal. So you're hitting Hera at a point where he is already going to have problems. I'm worried for Hera's economy here. I really am. Rajaras typically want to go scouts or archer opening, and if he wants to do either, the timings are not going to be there for his resources. And also Hera's scout, it hasn't found Yo, so it doesn't know what Yo's coming forward with. Now, Yo also doesn't know where Hera's resources are. Can you imagine if Hera's berries were on the front as well? Luckily for him, his berries aren't on the front. Oh, God, he's going to go range opening. Yo is probably going to set his waypoints to the side. Oh, God, Yo, you have to wait here. Just sit, stop. Okay, never mind. Wait, he notices now. Here he is. Man-at-Arms about to be in. Hera could lose these 2 villagers. A really awkward spot. He's got to finish the ranges. This could be a fast game. He's going to finish the range. Now, remember the scout's weak. And Hera... block with the spear. Well played. Well played. Killed the scout with the spear. Then blocked with the spear. Spear's MVP here. Hera's still not on gold, though. Hera still is the house wall here. Boom, boom. I want you in my room. Okay, there you go. Nice. So gets his wood upgrade. So I'm just trying to look at what he can afford here. Obviously, it's very messy for him right now. Hera could have lost the game right there. Losing 2 villagers and having your range denied would have been brutal. Now, guys, that's an example of if you didn't lame and you had a full HP scout of a villager that goes down. It's kind of interesting how that works out, right? Archers will be on the way for Hera. For Yo, he already has archers and skirms coming forward with the spearman. Spearman's an important addition because the camel scout's still out there on full HP. Yo, also no eco upgrades, which is interesting. Runs into a lion there. Not that that's that important, but it does slow him down. Hera sees this. And Hera's got to back away before he gets another shot off here. Or he can just micro it perfectly. Now, Hera will be fine there. This is not the concern. The concern is when the range follow-up comes for Yo, what happens? Yo's going to get fletching now. Like, that is really where this could snowball. Hera's not in a position to do that yet. He needs more food eco. And then maybe he can justify it. Hera will be pushed off of gold here in a second. The Man-at-Arms are still here, so Hera's looking here. Now he's got ranged army on his gold. Not an easy position to micro for either player, but it should be easier for Yo to prioritize things. But, like, if the roles were reversed, I'd say the game ends here, right? And Hera just wins the game from this position. But it is Yo. I'm not sure Yo is the one who can micro these scenarios quite as good as Hera. Is someone saying it would have lost 2 vills in the spear there? Yep. Crazy what damage control these players have. Okay, Hera's now off of gold. The positive is he has enough gold for fletching. His wood and food eco is okay. That much is fairly even here. Still no double bid axe for Yo. An upgrade he probably just won't get at this point. I wonder if he clicked it and thought he had it. It's crazy how much food he had, and just, I guess, how late that is. But the Man-at-Arm timing was pretty quick, right? Hera needs fletching. Now, I wonder how this will go, right? Like, this army will be a problem for Hera. But Yo is massing skirms here, or Hera's massing skirms here, sorry, and could surprise Yo. Like, right here is a good opportunity. Hera getting fletching. He does hop out, so now he's got 4 skirms on this side and 4 archers on this side. What's better, one main group? I don't know. Hera's got a lot of wood, so he could be putting that into farms here in a second. Yo is getting bid axe now. Yo kind of trapped now, though. Man-at-Arms will still be very helpful here. Hera kind of gets himself in an awkward position there, but Yo's archer micro struggling a little bit. Hera pulling back towards the town center. Camel Scout's going to go down. Yo will be pretty happy with this. His opponent still isn't on gold. That's a good enough trade for him. It wasn't the best trade I've ever seen from someone in this position. He's not just going to win the game right here, but took a really good engagement. And Hera's now going to add those farms. Yo, at home, has fewer farms because he is focusing more on the front and the micro here than he normally ever does in these types of games. I wonder if Hera senses the fact that the archers have been pulled aside. He knew archers were here, right? Now he's not seeing as much army. This normally indicates a sneak of some kind. Hera pushes it back. Hera has as many skirms as Yo. Hera's got a pretty good army. Yo actually will need to keep skirms on the alert to make sure Hera doesn't counterattack him. Hera's point of view. He doesn't see anything here. He's obviously focused here. Yo expects it. The skirm's over here, which means he might not have the skirm number at home. He's actually going archers at home. That could hurt Yo. But this hurts Hera, and this is distraction for Hera, who wanted more than anything to just push forward and focus on the counterattack. I'm not sure if he's even really reacted. I think he got the attack signal from this at the same time. And Yo will defend here because Hera has to come back with skirms, and Hera still doesn't notice. Oh, this is huge. The worker efficiency is so bad for Hera right now, and his counterattack won't find any value. Maybe he did notice now because his villagers are all there. I'm just not so sure. Yo lost the first game. He got wrecked the first game. Or whatever word I ended up using there. Okay, Hera knows. Yo was behind in game number 2 and came back. This game, he goes for the early lane. Hera's actually still in it. Hera's in a position to win this one. Because of how good his macro has been amongst everything here. He's probably going to lose these archers, though. Yo's sneaky little move didn't end up killing any villagers. And Yo's going to end up losing these archers as well. However, Hera will have problems again on his gold. Man, this must be so annoying. And he just decides to drop a tower here. But what a frustrating situation for Hera. This whole game, dude. So for me, frustration depends on the day, right? Some days I'm just like, it's really easy for me to breeze past a game like this. Other days I'm like, wow, this is just not fun. I'm not enjoying this. And it is possible that there's a world where it could get you on tilt a little bit and affects your long term. Now, ultimately, you have that time in between games to get that reset. And I think these guys have to be experienced enough to know This is not going to be fun. This is going to be brutal. If you're going to beat this player, guess what? You're going to have some rough times too. But man, like what a game. What a moment Hera's had to... what a moment. No, like what a frustrating situation to have to consistently deal with. This very forward gold. But I'll say it again, man. He's done a great job. He's got 22 on food somehow. Yo's going to be up to Castle Age as well with 19 on food. Yo's going to get those walls down. Yo's got a very big army right now, but so does Hera. Whew. Can we appreciate the idle TC time from both players and the Eco KD right now? Think of how much is flowed in this game and then just look at the stats. It's insane. How did Hera only lose 1 Vil? How did Yo only have 22 seconds of TC idle time? Hera, I guess, had a minute, right? So that this pressure might not have paid off for Yo in terms of the kills. Hera just deleted an archer because he was housed. What? That's interesting. He's like, I don't need that anymore because this is a skirm war. And it is a skirm war, which should lead to a stable war. And look what Hera's doing. So the Gurjaras... they can make camels in feudal, and then they're upgraded to... so they're camel scouts now, but they'll be upgraded later. And he knows that since there's skirms out for him, his opponent's going to be making knights as Lithuanians. Yo needs to full wall this bad boy. He has the time right now. He needs to be getting some villagers and full walling. I know it feels like a lot, but he needs to. And he's on stone. He's going to go for his favorite unit. I'm actually not sure if you were to ask Yo what he would say his favorite unit is. Would it be the Latus or would it be the Custelier? Yo is going to think, how is he up? How? What is this? And the thing is, Latus is still kind of countered by the camels. Travamsha, the Gurjara camels do more bonus damage. So I think Yo actually could have some problems. Now, if he was walled, it's different because with walls... then the camels and the skirms can't really disrupt his eco while he gets the castle up. But because Yo is losing all of his skirmishers and because he's not walled here, he has so much more work to do right now. And you can honestly lose the game. He needs a castle now. Okay, so he drops some houses. He'll drop the castle there. That's actually just on time here, I think. And he's going to hope for Latus, and I'm sure he's going to hope for some monks to get relics. Hera already getting relics right now with the Gurjaras. What a great game. The level has been so high in this game. Not to imply it wasn't in the others, but it feels like both players have matched each other's level pretty nicely here. But it's the same theme for me as the first two. Hera, the better player in early castle. Takes some advantages, kills some villagers. We'll see if Yo can bring it back. Now, Yo will want a second TC. You don't want to be this heavy on stone. There might be a hole there as well. I don't really think you want to be this heavy on stone right now. Ideally, you have like more wood and food eco. Yo, we'll have a monk, so Hera might just end up running away with these camels. Actually, no, Hera's looping in with this as well. I mean, Hera might be very confident that he can use the skirms against the monks. Oh, wow, that conversion was what many people call a Mr. Yo conversion. Hera, no second TC. There might not be skirms anymore, guys. I was wrong. The Late is taking good engagement against them. Yo still has a hole in his wall, which he will need to plug. And there's still a lot of camels there, but Yo's going to have another monk on the way. You would think, anyways. He doesn't actually have it on the way. Now he does. Latus do a lot of damage here. But do you really want to be losing a unit you have to build a castle to make against a stable unit? No, you do not. So Hera's going to move away. So just to break it down for you, if you didn't realize this is the situation. This unit has 13 attack. It attacks faster than the majority of units, right? I think it attacks slightly faster than a knight. Correct me if I'm wrong. It then gets extra attack when it attacks relic, when you collect relics, just like the knights do for Lithuanians. And it ignores armor. Yo converts another camel there. Hera's got to be like, are you kidding me right now? What is this? The Latus is one of the best units in the game, attached to one of the best civilizations in terms of options in the game. And Yo is in love with it. Speaking of things players are in love with, Hera is in love with Lightcav. And Yo needs to make sure that he... Oh, God. You got a wall in your monk here, right? Yeah. Get some walls down. Just make sure that monk doesn't get sniped as you complete that town center. Love this town center position for Yo as well. And Yo is so good at this. He finds himself in a position where he's defended himself now. And now he counterattacks. Remember game 2? Where he just counterattacks recklessly. This game, it's not so reckless anymore because he's got the walls down to protect himself. And Hera senses it. Hera has 3 relics, though. That is really helpful. Like I said, this civilization has a lot of options. One of those options is Speedy Pikemen. And so we see the Pikeman upgrade clicked for Yo. Makes sense to me. And he's out and about with some of his monks looking for relics right now. He loses that one. Here he's going to lose one, but actually, no, he won't. I lied. And this guy here, Hera might actually find, which would be pretty impressive because there's no relics over here anymore, so I wouldn't even be looking. But ultimately, I think Yo should get a sense that he should just go for the main push. And we are going to see the most classic Mr. Yo thing here. We are going to see a big army up the middle into a forward castle. I am so certain of it. If we don't see it, I will do absolutely nothing. But I'm certain of it, okay? Had you in the first half there. Hera, there's a hole. Latus trying to break through. Again, Yo's massing pikes. So what this will do is this will mean that Hera reacts with his camels, right? You need to somehow kill this. Now, Yo, if you dive too deep, you have problems here. You need the Latus as part of your army. See this? He's like, uh-oh. Oh, God. That hurts so bad. There, he killed a monk, and he's going to get a relic. So that's going to be the first relic for Yo. The other relic's over here, by the way. Did Hera see that with this monk? He did. Latus looping this way. Hera might be frustrated when he realizes the Latus have found his eco because he had the units around, but he just lost track of them for a moment. Meanwhile, he's distracted. He runs into some pikes. And both players weren't looking away from there for a second. But look what the Latus have done. Underneath the TCs, killing villagers left and right. Yo takes a big eco lead now. And I am so happy that this semifinal has turned into what I would have dreamt it to be. I don't want to speak too early on it, but I think so highly of Hera currently. And having talked to Yo many times, knowing his confidence levels against Harris historically, was concerned. Will we see the patented Yo forward castle? Yes, we will, of course. So there's a saying that my uncle uses, because he's a big black lab guy, talking dogs, right? He said, all dogs want to be labs, and all labs want to be black. That's his saying, because he's so in love with black labs. I think Yo would be like, all castles should be on the hill, and all oh God, I'm ruining it. And all castles want to be forward, okay? I just completely butchered the whole thing, but that is how Yo views castles in this game. There's no doubt about it. And the relics are there too! The relics are there, so Yo's like, I'll take those relics, thank you very much. Oh, God, how do you get yourself out of this position if you're Hera? You've got 2 golds next to Yo's castle here. It's the perfect castle. The answer is you try and go imp and treb it down, okay? But are you going to be able to really get to imp comfortably here? And when you get to imp, what army are you going to have? Are your villagers going to have died by then? Hera's going to drop a castle there. Dude. It's pretty intense stuff here. I mean, if the Pikes and Latus could get around there, disaster for him. It doesn't look like they actually can, though. Still, we'll see a conversion or two. I did see a relic being shipped back to Yo's base. Yo needs to leave with his Latus. And you need to take out that monastery, right? Is that too crazy? Like, the first thing I would have done, I mean, moving around's fine, but I would be on this side of the monastery with Latus taking it down. Hera's making chakrams right now, a unit that does a pretty good job in mass against everything, but especially against infantry. So that is now your answer to pikemen. And the Gurjara camels are your answer to the latest. You got to take those relics, man. And I don't think you ever go MP if you're Yo. I think you just hope to produce so many latest and so many pikemen that Hera gets overwhelmed. Hera is kind of limited in how long he can continue to make this type of army comp. Oh, look how the relics... they hopped out on this side. I don't know if Hera set a rally point. I don't actually know if the rally point affects it. I always do that, though, if I'm in that type of position, just to try and keep them away from the opponent. That's the Imp TC. That TC could go down here. It probably won't because Hera has brought enough army here to contest, but it's close. You think Yo is just going to take an engagement against army here, though, right? He's still spamming Latus. He's getting those relics. He's still spamming pikes. There's not that many chakrams. The engagement's as good as you would ask for Hera, though. Yo is taking the fight in the wrong way. Pikemen underneath the TCN against chakrams and Latus against the camels. You need to try and swap that. And it could have just been that Yo is focused on so many other things. And now Hera gets to breathe. And can Hera hold? I do like how Yo is taking the relics home. Because if you just put them on the front, then you have a big problem. But that fight needed to be better, man. And the thing that was weird about it was he committed to it. When it was not in the... When the units weren't positioned as he would have wanted, you know? An issue for Hera will be that he can't realistically... He doesn't have a good counterattack army. So if Yo continues to attack him all the time, Yo's eco will be untouched at home. This gets really fascinating. Vil count's even. Castle will go up for Yo. Hera will have 2 castles to make trebs. Right now, he's just got 1. Yo's castle goes up. Hera's still taking gold here this whole time, by the way. That's pretty important for him because he does have this gold, but he's kind of running low on it. Hera also selling food, right? He's still going to have gold. He's getting heavy camel. And now he just plays Protect the Treb. And the best way to punish someone who's playing Protect the Treb is you go attack their eco. And that's exactly what Yo will do. And then Hera is not in a position to protect the Treb anymore because the camels have to come defend from this. And then the new Latus try and snipe that Treb. That's how this works. God, Hera's losing so many Vils. More Latus looping in back here as well. I could see Yo winning this game. Okay, now there will be new Latus, and those new Latus are going to wait for those Trebs. I don't know if the Chakrams... Well, the Chakrams seem to be in good enough of a mass to be able to deal with a couple Latus. There's Pikes as well. This is what we wanted earlier from Yo. Great reaction from Hera here, though. And great job from Yo to get a conversion there, too. Okay, Latus thinking about the Treb. Now pulling back. Yo running low on stone right now. 140 population for both, but Hera's up in age. And once these castles are down, feels like Yo is going to struggle so much, but there's a big group of Latus, and down will go one of Hera's trebuchets. Still feels like Hera's got enough camels to defend the other 2, and those 2 are enough to take out that castle, and obviously can shift onto this castle. And now you don't know how you defend this region of your map, and this area of your map, and like this area of your map. Like, it will all start to fall apart for Yo if he doesn't have the army. But he got 3 relics, which I consider a positive, and he is going to click Imp. He still has a castle at home, which is nice to make more Latus. This Latus has found some Vil kills on Hera, who again has had a wonderful game as far as producing villagers consistently is concerned. But I don't think that you can stop the combination. Like, I don't know if there's a single civilization that can stop the Gurjaras on Arabia if the Gurjaras have all their unique units at play. The Chakram and the Heavy Camel is so difficult. It covers all your bases, right? The issue is that I guess the Heavy Camel isn't a unique unit, but it's got unique bonuses. The main issue is you're extremely vulnerable as the Gurjaras until your castles are up. But Hera's got 3 now. We'll see if he prioritizes his lead Chakram. We'll see if he prioritizes a push, because right now he's still doing some level of reacting. Seems like he's branching forward with his Trebs. And Yo's still going to stick with the same army composition he's been fighting with. An amazing game. I hope my commentary is doing it justice. Hera's got a neutral gold to work with. He'll still have 2 relics at home. He still has what's left of his golds. He's fine as far as gold's concerned. There's some goats from red. And Yo just has to hope that the Halbs can find some kills on the camels and that the Latus will be enough against chakrams. I think this is a moment where you can wait. You don't make any more army for just a minute if you're Hera. And you get the Shattra's unique tech, which makes all your food units discounted. It's like 25% as well. Could someone tell me what the new price of that tech is, though? It used to be dirt cheap, and then the devs nerfed it, which we talked about at the start of this game. It was, like, far too cheap for what it does. But, I mean, you're ahead right now. To get further ahead, I feel like you should prioritize that. But maybe it's too expensive now. I don't know. He's not really floating a ton of res. Someone said 500 food, 400 gold. Okay, that is a bit much. I definitely would want to see Elite Chakram. Elite Chakram is almost needed, I think. They are still good against the pikes, but once you get Elite, it seems to have more of an effect on other things. Because the Chakram does so little attack, having some extra stats is helpful. I think Hera's going to get the tech now. Or at least he's just not upgrading army for a while. And he's obviously starting to push Yo here, as we can see pretty clearly. Okay, so there's the tech. Okay, so timing solid on this from Hera. And now with 50 on food, his units are 25% off on food. And every unit he makes costs food. It's an insane technology, and it's extremely important to prioritize here. And I think Yo... I mean, he's trying, but he's going to have his work cut out for him here. Not seeing any major advantages for him. He was trying to take the neutral stone, as losing all those villagers currently. He also knows about this gold and this one, so he might try and raid it, or raid Hera's main economy. Hera he really needed 4 trebs here so he could push Yo's hill. The fact that he creeped forward with 1... it gives Yo an opportunity to take out that castle, and it gives Yo an opportunity to raid. But is that even the case? Hera's got vision everywhere. Yeah, he'll just patrol camels anytime a Latus runs out, and he's fine. Elite Chakram on the way for Hera. Conscription for faster production. And this has been an amazing game. The best game of the series thus far, and I think in terms of the level, I think the best game we've seen since the quarterfinals began, honestly. Maybe not an entertainment because that MBL Sato game where MBL had the crazy lame and MBL had no TC at one point and still ended up winning was top-notch for me. But the level and the creativity of the 2 players here in this game, it will leave whoever loses this game asking, what more can I do? And Yo's just going to switch it up. He's going to go Halb. He's going to go Hand Cannon. A really interesting composition. Because the Chakrams have very little range compared to the Hand Cannon. Is it 6 range? Oh, I thought it was actually less than that. Okay, so it's not too bad. But the Chakrams are infantry with low HP, so the Hand Cannon should wreck them. Halbs then deal with the camels. Hera needs Bombard Cannon here. You need some form of siege against this, and then suddenly you're okay. I actually think, speaking of MBL, that MBL or someone would maybe go Onager. Hera doesn't have a lot of army, actually. He's had full control. He's not even fully pop-capped here. Maybe he's just waiting and getting some techs and getting some buildings down and... Okay, it seems like the Chakrams are good enough here. Woof! They just damaged so many units with each shot. What's the problem? It's like, oh, you have 60 military? That's fun. Send it in towards the Chakrams, I dare you. All your Halbs are going to disappear in 2 volleys. And Trebs for Hera maybe need to back away for a second. And bop. Camels have to be careful here. But Hera's just using them as bait right now. It does not surprise me at all to see Hera's going Hussar. Because it's a unit that can accomplish the same thing as the camels are doing right now, but it just doesn't cost gold. You shouldn't be needlessly throwing away camels at this point. And actually, if Yo's not pushing consistently here all the time, Hera will raid Yo to death, and it's not even going to be funny. It's so easy, right? There's so much eco on the flanks. Which is why in these instances I preach push, push, push. Because if you're not being aggressive, Hera will have the awareness to understand that he can hold in this area, and then he can go to your eco. And oh gosh. Bombard cannon down. Skirm edition too. Skirm's good against halbs. Good against skirms. Hera with a nice little mix here. Again, units that cost food. Kind of pulls Yo out of position with those halbs. Yo has to re-micro it. Now Hera's got bombard cannons of his own. And you could see Yo falling apart here. Yo will not take out this castle if this continues like this. Because those trebs are going to go down. The bombard cannons have gone down. The cav archer that was randomly there goes down. And Hera's going to hold this position. And if he holds this position, the next wave of Hussar goes directly to Yo's eco. And that's where Yo really starts to fall apart. It actually wasn't a horrible fight for Yo. Those hand cannons seem really strong. They have no bonuses, the Lithuanians, for their hand cannons. But if you're staying here with one Treb versus two and versus all the army that Hera has, this is because you think that you have no other way to win the game. Hera just needs, like, to take a deep breath for a second and just go, bam, 5 Hussars, bam, 5 Hussars. Well, I guess there's halbs there. Like, Yo's not fully walled on this side. I guess he does have the castles, though, so those castles are nice. Like, castles like this, these prevent raids a little bit. But how long can you play that game against Gurjara Hussars? T90 just said skirms are good against skirms. Well, skirms do have a bonus damage against skirms, so I'm not wrong if I said that. Okay, so Hera will notice this castle. Yo's castle should still complete. Yo's fallen back. He does not have good late game control over the map. He does have 3 relics. But what gold unit are you going to make besides hand cannon? I don't know if there really is one. Hera catching up on upgrades. Hera now able to play his type of game. The Hussar type of game. And he'll find kills on the sides. On this side, he's already prepping a Treb, as is Yo. And Hussars for Hera could run directly into Yo's main eco. Yo can't push because he has to respect that. There's lots of blue on this map. Dude, like, the fact that Hera survived the early struggles here is just crazy. He's played so well. This is the best I've seen Yo in all in Cade in the Desert. Like, I didn't cast the earlier rounds because I was traveling for a wedding and was just busy with stuff. But I watched the games where I could, and I followed the results. And he looked good against Doubt, don't get me wrong. He did not look this good. He really looked strong in this game. And an amazing comeback, obviously, in game number 2. But the Hussars are going to find Yo, and it just feels inevitable now, right? Like, there's just... He's trying to claw his way back into this. Like, this is really nice. But Hera still with such a nice little foothold in the middle. And the potential to just... Well, to kill all the hand cannons here. Actually, no. Chakrams suck versus hand cannons. Woo! Okay. Yo's army count has been consistently higher than Hera's. It's rare when Hera has 60 on food and his units are cheaper on food that he doesn't have more Hussar flow. But, oh, okay. He lost his castle, but he's going to take out Yo's Trebs here. That's probably where he was looking. And, yeah, now he's got like 30 or so units in queue, so he's back up to 200 pop again. Well, it's good that the Chakrams do melt the hand cannons, because otherwise there wouldn't be many other options for you. I think maybe mixing in some skirms, especially as Lithuanians, would be helpful in most cases. Yeah, Hera is just happy enough to use the Hussars against them. Hussars do enough damage, or they just die. A bit of a miss micro. Maybe he meant to use the skirmisher control group and click the Hussars there. As you can tell, he immediately went with the skirms after. But Yo's pop is dropping, guys. He's at 160. Hera's population will be 200 indefinitely. And Hera able to freely sit here with 3 Trebs, and I think that should tell you everything, right? To tell you how much control he has, because typically you want to protect those bad boys. And he still should be protecting those Trebs, and he realizes now that he should. But Yo's going to lose all of his bombard cannons. Yo has 0 on gold right now, with Hera still having 17 on gold. And this is all so exposed through the middle right now. And Hera just lost one Treb there. So we might see these Trebs get tasked over to this side, where he's already making more Trebs to try and take out Yo's castle. And that castle has become very important for Yo. Because, you know, Hera doesn't feel the confidence to freely push because of it. And Yo's still alive. He's a fighter, man. 150 pop is not low enough for Yo to call the GG. Why doesn't Yo go back into Latus? Because it's not... He could make like 4 of them, and it's not an effective mass, even if your opponent doesn't end up going for camels. In late game scenarios, you want to use your gold for siege to push important positions, and otherwise you're kind of going for trash units. Latus, I don't think would change too much here, except put Yo in a position where he can't really make siege anymore. Much more important to have bomber cannons and trebs in key positions. Oh, shoot. Hera didn't have final armor. Okay. I just kind of assumed he did. He also has no armor on his skirms. I bet you that's in queue. What? Okay. All right, so he's missing some crucial upgrades. Yo, also with some stables over here to try and set rally points in Hera's eco. Still trying to get raids. Hera's Hussars patrolled into a farm. That's one of my favorite bugs. But Hera's still pushing, and Hera's actually going to take those 3 relics away from Yo right now, which means 0 gold income for Yo. Yeah, Hera didn't have infantry armor either. Dang. So he was fighting without fully upgraded units with every single unit choice. But it was the pushback from Hera when Yo came with the forward castle. It was that defense. I mean, it was the defense in feudal, too. The whole game was just defense, defense, defense from Hera. He's so good at it. And now he's got 80 farms with the cheapest Hussars in the game. And he's going to just run circles around Yo. Somehow Yo's population isn't worse. That was kind of funny. Hera's Hussars killed a farm, and the villagers just reseeded a new farm. Next level strats from Hera to drain Yo of his wood count or something. I hate it when you patrol... There's clearly units there, and you patrol units, and they attack a farm. It wasn't always like that, so I don't know if that's something they're tracking at all. Well, this is annoying. Right? This is a frustrating position. But Hera's just going to castle it, and Yo realizes he is now dead. Calls the GG, and that was, again, just a ridiculous game. I think, honestly, the key moment... Like, there's a lot of different things that transpired in this game. And people are now flinging out some ideas. Like someone saying, I don't know how Yo did not go for Ram and Siege Pike all in Castle Age. People are saying all this stuff, right? Man, Yo should have done this. Yo should have done that. I think both players played well enough where both deserved to win that game, right? I don't think there should be any huge questions over how the performance was. But I will say that while Yo was the aggressor in feudal, the macro in feudal and Hera's faster castle time decided so much in this game. Because Hera had initiative for the first 5 minutes in Castle Age when his base was wide open. And by the time Yo finally mustered up an army, which was good enough, like Latus and Pikes, to push out across the map, Hera had already a stabilized eco, and he was in a position to defend from it. Like, if you're able to be in Castle Age at the same time there, if you're Yo, Pikeman comes in a minute faster. The Latus move out a minute faster. All those things that transpired flow differently, and that was key. Also, I thought Yo had a position to kill Hera before Imperial Age, and Yo took some really poor engagements. I think it was around these farms, if you were watching. Remember, it was like 5 chakrams and 20 camels versus 15 pikes and 15 Latus. And the pikes go underneath the town center and against the chakrams. And then the Latus fought against the camels. And I think if that fight goes differently, Hera might not be able to be an imp in the same position too. I mean, lots of small moments, but a great game. Scores 2-1. So buckle up, ladies and gents, for some awesome Arabia games. Go through everything on Hera there, and then you could see just how good the unit comp is for Hera near the tail end of this game, right? A lot of these kills probably came late, but like just consistently seemed to be taking better engagements with the Gurjara options. Not getting Winged Hussar was a bit strange. I disagree. This isn't a raiding game. Like, he moved out with Latus of all things, and he just got chewed up by camels. Hera had vision everywhere. And Wing Tosser is actually, it's sneaky expensive. Isn't it 700 gold? I think it's like 800 food, 700 gold. Yo never really had the res for that. Anytime someone loses a game and you're thinking, why didn't they go for this unit? You have to think about, was the unit going to be immediately helpful? And did they have the resources to justify it? Because if you're spending gold on an upgrade like that, it's 600 food, 800 gold, you're going to miss out on some other things. Obviously, in an ideal world where he's not getting pushed all the time and he has a bit more map control, then yeah, that could be helpful. But it's not like he's Poles where they have some other fun bonuses. Like, I think the Polish ones do more damage against gunpowder and some trample damage, etc., right? Okay, anyways, we're here. I'm so sorry. Hardy told me last night, he said, man, like, I could tell you're trying to find the right spot to start commentary for a game, but when you and Dave are telling stories, it's really hard for me to know when I'm supposed to, like, start the next game for the YouTube videos. So, Hardy, I apologize. You can include this, okay? We're here for game number 4. Everyone in the YouTube comments later can say they appreciate you. Got Burgundians for Yo. A civilization that is cheaper eco upgrades, and you can research it an age earlier. And they have another unit that Yo's obsessed with that could be really freaking strong out of their castle. And I don't like Burgundians on Arabia. All of his wood lines are forward. They are rangeable by archers or towers. The wall potential's there, though. The wall potential's absolutely there. Hera's gone for Incas, and to be very serious about, like, this whole situation, this is an early pick for Hera, and it's a later pick for Yo. If Yo loses this game and goes down 3-1, I do not see a way back for him. Civ-wise, it's not possible, but also just with Hera's skill set, even if Hera was playing with worse civilizations, I would not see it possible. Hera will have, in theory, based on the draft at the conclusion of this game, one better pick, one earlier pick over Yo, which is why Yo needs to tie this up 2-2. Hera didn't find any lames. He did find his opponent, but he did not find any rhinos or boars or anything along those lines. So he's going to come home now. So that's actually pretty good for Yo. He's already starting to wall up a little bit. Okay, could someone tell me what the feudal age was like in the game that Vivi played against Nikov in their best of 5 last week? Yo just lost a villager to a boar! No, dude. Mr. Yo has become Mr. No. He just lost to Vil. Ay, 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 ay. All right, well, that hurts. It's all right. Hera's Mayans now, guys. Hera's Mayans. He has one more Vil. That's how that works, right? The Incas have now become the Mayans. Well, that's painful. It's very rare you see that these days. And it's something that he should have definitely avoided. But it is nice for you guys to know that the pros have that issue as well sometimes. It's just, for this to happen in this moment is painful. These are always the deceiving walls, right? You wall up and you think you're really safe, and then your opponent has crossbowmen later, and you're like, oh god, I have no wood. And it's easy in that moment to be frustrated with your map and say, oh, my wood is forward. But if you don't play towards map control, you could have some problems. I mean, there is wood all the way over here. This map gen is very weird. Right, like Hera seems more like a standard map gen, and then Yo's is a normal map gen that was in a car accident and is disfigured. I don't know. Anyways, he does have the wood upgrade right now, so he's got a slightly more efficient economy, you could say, and he continues to try and wall. And there's no way he goes fast castle here, but I imagine this is just stay safe and adapt in feudal as a plan. As for Hera, did he notice all the wood lines? Oh, yeah, he did. So he probably shouldn't be too surprised to see walls when he gets over there. And still feel like we're just going to see archers from him. There are bugs in the game where Vils don't listen to commands immediately. No. That's not what that was. I'll show you what it was. Listen, there are bugs in the game, and I'm not one to shy away from talking about it. Oh. What? He didn't move the Vil again. He stopped moving the Vil. So what you do is you go, he is 6 inside the TC. You do 2 shots with the TC, and then shots with the Vils. So he didn't... Oh, it was weak, and he froze, and oh, God. Or he didn't garrison it. I don't know. I don't think that's a game not listening to his commands. I think that's the villager going down 1 hit away, and he realized in the moment that if he garrisons it, it's 7 Vils. And if 7 Vils shoot that Rhino, then it dies. Because that's how that works, right? If you go 6 on the first shot and 7 on the second shot, the Rhino just dies, and then we're saying, oh, God, he shot his Rhino with his TC. So I think he realized, oh, crap, I can't garrison this because I lose the Rhino, and then hope the Vil wouldn't die or something. But yeah, regardless, it's painful. Is there a realistic chance to win versus Incas without Custilier? I mean, you could go Light Cav and Skirm and like Knights. But I think the walls from Yo should tell you just how he feels this is going to play out. Like, he needs to just be defensive and greedy. But you can go 6 on first shot and 7 on the second. Can you go 6 and 7? So I know you go, if you do 4 in the TC and you shoot it 3 times, you're fine. If you do 5 inside the TC, shoot it 2 times, there's going to be 1 volley on the Rhino. And then the next volley kills it. Then you've got, oh God, Eagles through. He does have Loom, it's fine. And then you've got the 6 and 6. I thought it was players would do 5 and then 6. I don't know. But I really just think that's a mistake from Yo. But maybe we should be saying it is a bug. I'm not sure. Again, it's happened before. It occasionally happens under pressure. I wouldn't be able to say based on that it is a bug. But it has been bug of Age of Empires recently. And I'm not happy about that, so... Anyways, Barracks, House. Hera with the man-at-arm pressure. He's going to have an archer follow-up. Has to make sure he doesn't lose the archer to the scout. He'll be fine here. Yo will not kill this archer because Hera will garrison. This would be so good for Yo. That is still really good for Yo. He's going to be hunting for that thing now. It's crazy how that right there could give Yo enough time to maybe get away with the greed. He's not on stone. He has no archer range. So your wood is more efficient, but then you have so many villagers repairing and doing all these different things, and you're not like farming yet or anything. It just feels so ridiculous, so crazy. It just doesn't feel like it's worth it. Like, are you really collecting more resources right now? It doesn't seem like it, right? The inefficiency of your economy just negates the whole advantage you had. Anyways, I mean, flawless play from Hera this far, right? But you know, he will know. He needs to apply some pressure, and Hera didn't even get Loom. Hera didn't even get Loom until now. Now, that's how he knew this game was going to go. He's like, all right, why would I even get Loom when this guy's not really going to attack? Now, Yo, please do not try and get the Castle Age farm upgrade before you place the next farms. Place your farms now. I know you don't even have the wood right now. Don't be that greedy. You need some farms, man. Yep, Yo went Bowsaw before his archer range because why else pick Burgundians, right? You pick you're trying to play towards your civ's bonuses. But it slowed him down. And I think this is going to be one of the rare moments in this particular series where we see Hera market to the next stage. Because this game is all based... It's not like, oh, Incas are better in late game, Burgundians better in late game. No, this is all about Castle Age. Hera knows that Yo is going to try and defend with skirms and then get on this stone and get into Custilier. Hera also will likely recognize it's going to be increasingly difficult for him to find damage in feudal because Yo is good enough to hold against this. And so that's why I feel like a market will happen where Hera just tries to sell his soul to get Castle Age as quickly as possible. And then those woodlines will obviously become an issue. Fletching's a good investment here from Hera. You have good micro here from Yo. I'm slightly surprised that Hera ran in here. You run in if it's on the front, obviously. But on the back, you can't really reinforce. So pretty soon, Yo's going to have more military units. But the Man-at-Arms are helping a bit. You also have this hero archer behind, weakening the Man-at-Arms. But yeah, the Man-at-Arms have weakened the skirms to a level where Hera could kill them, actually. Bit of a miss micro there from Hera and from Yo, though. And wow, those skirms are all super weak. And this is all damage, so you can macro at home. Hera's eco, even without a mark, it's going to be looking amazing. Yeah, this is brutal. This is just brutal. And we said it on the draft. Like, Poles Burgundians are just not civilizations that play standard on Arabia. But Yo had to take some risks, he felt. And his risky pick, not paying off thus far in this game, loses another villager. That's the first one he lost to Hera. And I don't know, it's very disappointing from our perspective to have to see someone so good as Yo take these types of risks. Do you agree? I get it, right? Like, he views it as, I need to take some risks to win this series in 1 or 2 games. Because I can't play standard in the rest of them. But he is so good at playing standard as well. Hera clicks up, no market. That is a ridiculous build order. And he's still going to have crossbow numbers to do some damage, but Yo's going to stonewall now. This is like Tato's last game yesterday, just nothing into GG. Well, not nothing, but yeah. It's very reminiscent of that, excuse me. Let me drink a glass of water real quick while we have nothing to talk about. Because I have another best of 7 to cast after. We'll see if Hera goes forward siege. I'm very curious on that. There's a world where if Hera tries to boom, because his eco is going to be set up to do that, and he doesn't really go all in here, that Yo could come back in this game. Remember last game where he had the forward castle and well, first he had the defensive castle, then he took map control. And then he went forward castle later and really gave himself a shot. This game doesn't feel quite as close, but the potential is still there. And Yo knows how to find his timings. It's just, where is he going to get wood? This is so rough. I'm slightly surprised Hera shows himself before Castle Age here. But perhaps he was unfortunate not to find a villager kill. And now he's going to get his upgrades. Okay, so Hera, what's the decision? We see a town center, okay. Keep in mind, there's so much gold here. We have 1 of Yo's golds, a neutral gold, 2 of Hera's golds, and Yo's gold as well. Wow, we have 4 golds, 2 from each player in the middle, and a neutral. That's pretty ridiculous. Stable from Yo. Wouldn't surprise me if that's just for husbandry, though. I don't think he's going to be researching Cavalier. And crossbows are going to sit in the wood line. And Hera's got to be like, are you kidding me? All right, here we go. If you consider Yo unlucky with what happened to him in Dark Age, you can consider him very lucky there. If Hera had 1 more crossbow in that group, he would have killed those vills. But now they're just like a sneeze away from going down. So I don't know if the Incas also have a long-range sneeze technology, but they can do a lot of things. 3rd town center for Hera. I love the fact it's on stone because he is going to prioritize stone income for an eventual defensive castle. And still, villagers on this woodline. Does Hera not realize? What? Oh, he realizes now. Yeah, the fact that Yo is sitting on that woodline so comfortably there for a second is pretty crazy. Yo isn't dead. He is alive. And there he kills a crossbow. I didn't realize there was actually 2 of them there. He's going to drop a castle. And this Hera will see. And guys, I'm happy to say that Yo actually has a really interesting chance here. Like, Hera's army count is really low. The unit that Yo's about to make can wreck in low numbers. I mean, obviously in high numbers as well. Yo won't necessarily have a need for siege because Hera doesn't have that big of a mass. And Yo's scout there even sees that there's monks out there for Hera getting relics. Yeah, resources collected would be interesting to look at. Hera is ahead. But he's not that far ahead. Obviously, he'll have more villagers here too. But what good are those villagers going to be if there's not an army to protect them? Now, I honestly don't think that what Hera has done here is incorrect, though. I would have really liked to see Siege, personally. Like, I think the optimal play is to go Crossbowman and Siege and Monk, especially with these golds forward. Like, all the woods forward, all the golds forward. But for Hera's skill set, right, for how he plays, he is a defensive player. Yes, he can be extremely aggressive, but he thrives on getting the economy before you and delaying army production and delaying some of those upgrades. Whereas, like, someone like Leary, Sito, those guys are like army upgrades first. And then I go for eco later. So for Hera's style, this is great. It could cost him later on. Also, I love the fact that Yo is going to make more scouts. And the Lycav upgrades 50% off, right? Because all stable upgrades are 50% off. So he should get that to help out with some monks. Yo will drop his second town center. Hera has to track this. And, oh, unit converted there. Very helpful pickoff from Hera. There's going to be another monk. That could be another conversion. It'll get one-shotted, so it might not. And it does get one-shotted. And then the scout here kills the other monk. So this is what I mean. Hera only has 11 crossbowmen. And you don't want a castle here or here. You'll take it if you have to. You want a castle here, I think. Yeah, castle here is safe. It's on a hill. It allows you to take more stone to eventually castle the rest of your base. I think that's the play. You see Yo's stone count, though? This is just classic Yo. He will eventually make that third castle, and that castle will absolutely be forward. Pikemen now. Okay, Hera going pikes. Knowing he needs more than just the crossbowmen and the monks. Here he'll drop a house. He doesn't know where Yo's main force is. He's moving out to try and damage Yo. Very risky in these instances. Because, I mean, if this army gets in, he has nothing at home. But house wall's going up. He actually needed houses too, and he gets lots of pop space from these houses as Incas, so that's not bad in the long term. And he goes for a conversion. Yo has to back away with his entire army. Hera didn't hit the wood line, but killed the scout there, and he's going to get relic number 3. And now Yo's trying again. Okay, this is Hera's opportunity to build a castle in the front of his base, though, right? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, goodness. Who's out of position? Is Yo out of position, or is Hera out of position? I can't tell. Hera's running back into his base because of this. Yo's dropping a castle here. I guess you would say that neither player's out of position, but, you know, different things can result from this. Hera felt like the town centers would be the best defense against these things for now, and a couple pikemen. We'll find out if he's correct on that. Yo really hoping to take an engagement here with the Lycav against the monks. And Hera's Gate Foundation did not cooperate, so he's going to lose his monks. It's fine, though. He got relics. Don't think that's that big a deal. Over here, he defends fully from the push with the pikemen. He's got a 30 villager lead. He has the castle on his hill. And now we wonder if this game is over. Again, with Hera's style, just macro it up and say, come at me, Mr. Yo. A lot of other players, you invite Mr. Yo to do damage to you, and he's going to find the right spots. 70 pop versus 110 right now. Yo needs a big push on this side. And Yo, unfortunately for you, when you go to do that, you're simply just going to find another castle. Now, Hera might be tempted to go for a castle here-ish. If he knew the Siege Workshop was going up, he would simply just castle this area, though. Someone says, feels like Yo is in a much better spot. You think so? 65 villagers versus 91? I'm not so sure. but you might have just spoke this into existence. I think Hera's in the much better position, especially now that this castle's here. Hera's going to be able to trap that down. The pikes were a good answer to the Coustelier. This is still a vulnerable spot for Hera, but Inca castles are cheap, right? Hera just going to try and keep these units out. And he will keep these units out and basically semi-trap them. But they'll go for the gate on the hill. And Hera knew it, so he starts building the gate again. 6-6-6 stuff. There's a sense of inevitability about this series. And it's a sense that I thought that we would have at the start. Like, this is just an unbelievable level against a level that is skyrocketing far above that somehow. When I said unbelievable level, you thought I was going to talk about Hera, but Yo's actually playing insane. Yo's not playing bad. He just can't stop it. And I don't think you could take this level of risk against Hera. You almost have to play his type of style, play his type of game. There's another player who maybe even started this type of play style, who Hera learned from a lot through many losses. And that player's in the other semifinal, and his name is the Viper. And I think MBL is going to have his work cut out for him in that semifinal whenever that happens as well. But prove me wrong, yo. Prove me wrong. 82 villagers, eco's flowing. Let's see if he could get the similar situation to what had happened in the in game 2, right? Where he came back when he was really far behind. If Hera wouldn't have let these units through, by the way, a lot of this would have been avoidable. Because he now drops a castle in his base. It's not a castle he would have wanted originally. Doesn't really have a lot of gold income. Is this doable right now? For Yo? Yo's at 87 vills? I love how he just dives. He's like, nope, I will not hesitate. I am behind, and I will engage immediately. Costly, but his eco is actually flowing pretty crazily right now. And he's got access to gold and stone and wood and food, everything he needs. T90, what type of odds would you give me on an MBL to the finals bet? Odds. So the thing is, what I had said before this semifinal, I spoke about both. Is I said 4-1 for Hera and I said 4-1 for Yo. I think it would be more realistic that Yo could beat Hera today than MBL beating Viper. Just because of the histories of the players and whatnot. I would absolutely love to see a Yo MBL final, right? I think that'd be fantastic. So I'm not saying I have a preference, really. It's just kind of how I think the games are going to go. So I don't know. Depends what type of MBL we see. You said 4-1 MBL. I think you meant to say 4-1 Viper. Yeah, I think 4-1 Viper. So I don't know. Hard to bet against the snake, man. Really hard to bet against the snake. And this is the similar situation to what Yo found himself in previous game. He applies a lot of pressure with his unique units. Hera defends from it. And then Hera, with the greater eco control, is now going to push the map. And I don't know what Yo makes for military, and I don't know how you stop this. I don't know what odds I would give, but I would say my confidence level in that matchup, having seen it so many times since 2014, 2015, I think would be like, I'd give you like 10-1 odds or something, which is pretty ridiculous, I know. Cheering for MBL, like, that the games could just be fantastic. Like, MBL, the games have been insane here, and MBL and Viper has some potential for some incredible games. Some of my favorite games ever include those two players, whether it's against each other or, you know, them against somebody else. Hera selling some wood, buying some stone for an additional castle to continue this push. That is not Yo's Imperial HTC. You've got the TC here, so he'll make it there. He's dropping archer ranges. He's certainly got resources. But what army is he going to make? Is it going to be gunpowder? Is it going to be skirms? It can't be Cav anymore. The Kameyuk, the Pikemen, they're all going to have that locked down. And the stats told you maybe for a moment like 5 minutes ago that Yo would have a similar build count and maybe have a chance, but it just takes way too much time. Yo taking some crazy risks with the Burgundians. Doesn't pay off there. Beautiful play from Hera all game. He found a little bit of value early. Obviously helped the fact that, or he was helped by the fact that Yo lost a villager to a boar in the Dark Age. And Hera now has 3 match points. He could take himself to the final in King of the Desert. He actually has never even been in a semifinal prior to this King of the Desert. Isn't that pretty crazy to think? So this is already Hera's, the deepest Hera has been in any of the King of the Deserts. And he's looking in good shape to make it to the final, man. Looking really clean. And I also believe he is playing, I think both players are playing better than they played in their quarterfinals. Hera is playing better than he played against Vinchester. And Yo is playing better than he played against Tatsu. So both players have risen their level for this today. KD's relatively close. Economy really not. And keep in mind the long-term control that Hera gained from this. So if this game continued, Hera's got more gold control. And, you know, he's got lots of relics in the mix as well. I'm concerned for Yo now because of the civilization situation. As I said before, Hera's got 2 of his 3 early picks available, and Yo only has 1. And Yo can't lose a game now. If Yo wins the next game, well, obviously chances are brighter, but still going to be tricky civilization-wise. Well, we speculated on what civilization Yo would go with here, because he's got some awkward civilizations remaining on his draft. Would he go for his number 1 pick to try and get a bounce-back game, or would he instead save Malians till later? He's gone for the Malians here, and you have Hera in the blue again playing as the Mongols. And my theory was, and clearly Yo disagrees, is you don't want to play your best civ now because Hera's not going to play his best civ now because he's under no pressure. You want to take your risks now and save your best civilization to game 7. That was my theory. I don't think it matters all that much. But, you know, we had that discussion prior to hopping in the game. Hera's stealing some goats from Yo. Mongol scouting bonus hype. But Yo is bringing in his hunt early, knowing that Hera's probably going to try and steal these things, and that was really smart from him. So I think he's going to be okay. So this is going to be a game that's different than the previous ones. Like, Hera had a lot of these games where Yo would open somewhat defensively, and he would make archers and macro his way to the next stage. I think this might be the first time we see Hera open scouts in the series. And, whoa, he's got 9 goats. Wow, did he steal? What? Actually, he might have stolen more than 2. Because, remember, Yo brought in his rhinos earlier, right? So you should have 8 goats per side at the start of the game. I guess he would have taken 1. So, no, he did lose 2. I'm wrong. Okay. Right? Yeah, Hera's got 9 now. If he stole 2... he would have originally had 7. Yeah. And then he probably ate 1. Okay. It just looks ridiculous with how much food income they have. But what Hera was also able to see, he was also able to see Yo's base is fairly open. So this is a great map for scouts. You have the Mongol hunt bonus. And then you also want to apply pressure early and stop Yo from walling up. But if the game goes Castle Age, while Mongols do have some advantages to talk about, like the faster firing cav archers, like, you know, camels and knights being accessible, like ballistics being researched faster, or just all university attacks. Wait, crap, I just combined civs. I'm so stupid. Okay. Anyways, to simplify it, because I'm an idiot, while Mongols do have some advantages like Steppe Lancer and Camel and the faster firing cav archers, Malians have more options and more peaks with those options. So they have better Cavalier, better Camels, university techs, infantry strong. And a lot of savings, too. Like, you're saving so much wood when you build your wood buildings with the Malians, on top of receiving a spike of gold when you're collecting gold. All right. Yo, Max, thank you for the stars. Thank you, Razio, for the stars as well. Thanks for the donos, guys. This is actually the first time we have we've activated a stars party in a long time. So if you have stars now, there is a bonus that comes to me eventually. But I expect nothing besides smiles in the chat and enjoyment of the games. I hope, anyways. And I guess if that's the case, if we want more games, we want to root for Yo here. Biased caster confirmed. Okay, 17 pop, no loom. Really like this. It's the same time as going 18. Wait, no, it's not the same time as going 18 pop with loom. What am I talking about? This is good. I'm losing my mind over here. Mongols up time. 18 pop no loom is the standard. So Hera goes up a little bit faster. Many people have felt like due to the amount of food in King of the Desert that all build orders, you just shave off 1 pop. So instead of your standard 20 pop scouts with a normal civ, it goes to 19. Instead of the 19 pop archers, it's gone to 18. And instead of the 18 pop Mongol scouts no loom, which is something Yo does a lot, we go to 17. A great build, and why the Mongols were chosen here. So Hera can get some early initiative. And Yo's not even leaving right now. Like, he does not want his scout to get picked off by Hera's scout. And Yo's not slow. And he too is going to go for scouts, but he doesn't have all the food income that Hera has right now. You know what I think would be epic here? And it's so against Hera's style. I think that he needs a tower here, guys. There's a guy in my chat who says, block me. Okay, I got you. Also, for people who are watching later on YouTube, he's not just saying that, so I could do that. He wanted me to do it, mods. So I did it. Expletive, block me. Okay, later. But yeah, like, if you have good army control here, I think a tower would be epic. But Hera hates his villagers walking across map. He's more of the... wait. Here he goes. This is good. Now, where this is weird is if Yo makes a lot of spearmen. But even still, spearmen can't really kill the vills. This is amazing. Hera and I have the same brain confirmed. Except my brain moves twice as slow. Actually, I think it's more so my hands that are the problem. If I were to really single out an issue. I've got old man hands, dude. And anyone else relate? Oh, God. Oh, God. Yo's like, yep, T90, I can. Really feels like he should have had that walled off already. But in the end, Hera has to bail on this. Hera? Hello? Oh, my God. Well, you could tell what happened. He felt like he should have killed the Vill originally. And then he got frustrated and maybe felt like... Oh, wait. He says pathing and 80k tourney. Okay. I mean, he's absolutely not wrong. The fact that we have an $80,000 tourney and some of these issues are happening and things like go back to work don't work is not good. But I'm not sure if that was pathing. I'm sure Hera clicked the units in a way where he expected them to do something else. But maybe it was. Anyways. Yost acknowledged it and said yes. What does Yo do when he doesn't have a wood line anymore? Good thing he saves wood on all of his buildings, because this is going to be freaking annoying. I think the only thing you do is you build your own tower right next to this and try and shoot it down. Right? Oh, okay. He's going to take these trees for now. What an interesting game. Hera's economy is just still so good to make scouts, though. You definitely wall in this tower. You have to fully wall that in. The corners as well, so Yo can't batter it down later. And I'm not seeing any real reason for either player to ever try and plan for Castle Age in this one. We might see the classic full feudal. And Yo has no easy wood access. He would have to leave his base and go over here. Something that Hera will obviously look for now. Again, great job from Hera to keep himself defended. But Yo really hasn't grouped up too many scouts here. He's just got 3. Where do we think Hera's going? He's going to be heading right over to the wood line. He sees it. Could have attacked those spearmen. Defending himself right now. Adding another spearman, though. And Hera says, I've got enough scouts to fight off your spears. You need wood right now, and I need to go to the final. Hopefully the pathing is better here for Hera, but I think the tower decision was just perfect in that situation. Again, it's against the meta. It's against the type of player he typically is, but it was the right play. It was perfect, and I think Yo was broken. Yo lost all of his scouts. Yo can't find any damage against Hera. He has no wood. And this will be a 4-1 victory for Hera in the semifinal. Unless Yo finds more damage. Like, he just lost another scout here. He's just got 4 scouts. How do you recover from this? Here he's trying to leave again. Hera finding more opportunities for kills. Finds that kill. Sees all the idle villagers. And he can just take some deep breaths here and relax. He's taking no damage at home. And it will be Hera in the final. If this continues. Trying to give Yo the benefit of the doubt here. Versus the winner of Doink! MBL. And the Viper. And Yo looks a little defeated now. He looks a little frustrated. And yeah, I would be as well. I'd be really frustrated with the map. Based on how the game is played out. But in reality, they both kind of have awkward wood lines. Yo just didn't have one in the back. And Hera took advantage of it. Yeah, I think the best decision for Yo in that instance... And it's still really bad. I still think he gets destroyed. But I think you just build your... like. Okay, let me be clear. It's not a counter tower per se. Because you can't really deny this tower because you didn't know it was happening. But there's only 2 vills there. So I think your best play is to build your own tower and garrison. This. You build your own tower and you garrison and you shoot that one down. As opposed to having to leave your base... with all of your vills and leave them so exposed. Like the same part of me that's telling me that Hera should have done this was telling me that Yo should have tried this. But as you can see, it's not exactly going too well for him. So, but it's just so tricky because you're still reacting with more vills. The Mongols can field so many scouts. So there's going to be more scouts from the enemy around. And yeah, poor Yo is just... he doesn't want to give it up here. Top 4, I think, is an amazing result for Yo. The players that would really... you would have expected to give him problems would be Hera, Viper, Leary. I think apart from that, he could kind of beat anybody. And man, that tower is just... and maybe my plan wasn't the right play. I don't know. But lots of spears for Yo. He's got 6 of them now. Hera's on the way to Castle Age. With a perfect eco setup for Steppe Lancers. And Steppe Lancers are very good against Spearmen. So I think that's where Hera will possibly finish off this game. Shouldn't have Yo stayed at home with his scouts and spears to kill the tower and try and counter? Well, you as a player, you never want to play reactive when you're behind, right? Someone towers your wood line, you're behind. What do you want to do? You want to hit them. If you just come over here to deal with this, Hera walls in his vills and you can't kill them with melee units. And then you're not doing damage to Hera. I don't think Yo trying to counterattack with his scouts was incorrect here. Normally, you're trying to swoop in for these villagers after you go to Hera's base. Because Hera's expecting you almost to come address this. I think Hera just had a really clean game. I think he had the type of game that Mongols dream of. And that tower, in combination with the Mongols and the advantages he already had, was just really tough for Yo to ever do anything. And obviously, Hera had walls at home. Like, he made this all look really easy. But Hera just did all the right things. And Yo's on the way to Castle. He doesn't want to tap out now. This would be his tournament life. Okay? And Hera's going to take a fight here that he will win due to the upgrades he just researched. Bloodlines and Forging. He's now in Castle Age. He's not going to force that fight. He knows that Villager will still be around and there will be opportunities later as he gets light cap with the Mongols. I think they have 98 HP, or am I thinking of the Steppe Lancer? Actually, I think it's over 100 with light cap, right? Like 100 and... oh, gosh, I should know this! It's a great trivia question, actually. What does it go to? Oh, gosh. I think the Hussar's over 100. Oh, man, I'm driving myself crazy. What is it? 98! Oh, I had it right the first time. Okay, what's the Steppe Lancer then? Is the Steppe Lancer the same? Okay, anyways, we're going to see Lancers now too. And because the Lancers hit from one range, they're perfect at picking off vills and getting some hits in on Spearmen. And this map is just so brutal. That villager gets poked down. And I don't know if Yo, he wants to get pikemen, but I don't know if he's going to have pikes remaining by the time he makes it to Castle Age. He did try and bail himself out by using the market because he knew his eco was a bit worse here. But Hera's just going to take this fight, especially if he sees Yo hits Gas Leech, he would force the fight, even if he felt like it was bad. But obviously, Yo's not even there yet. And this is felt over for a while. It feels over now. I kind of feel a little bit dirty watching these games sometimes. Like, I feel, not dirty, what's the wrong word? I feel bad just watching this poor guy just sit back and try and survive when he's been completely smashed. But, okay, he's still doing some great damage control here. Getting to his gold here. Dropping a monastery. Got some camels on the way. Really making Hera work for it here. Hera doesn't have a second town center now. Someone said T90 pervert. That's why I said dirty was the wrong word. It's so frustrating to be up against Lancers. Because if they find a way in, your whole wood line's dead. All your gold's dead. And oh man, there's more Lancers. Get lanced, villagers. Get lanced. Yikes. And you can take good engagements against camels on the hill because of the way these units engage. You've got the hill bonus, and you've got the pokey pokes from distance. And now, my friend, Yo, it is time. He calls the GG. Hera does get his win, and Yo wishes him good luck. Hera played very well. I said it after the quarters. I said it before the quarters. It really just felt like Hera was on a warpath and destined for the final, right? He's reached that point of his career. Even though he's never won a King of the Desert, the last year especially, it's like, it's inevitable, right? It's inevitable. It's like the, certain dynasties in sports. It's inevitable that, this team gets to the Champions League final or this team gets to the NBA final. Inevitable, Hera's going to make it to King of the Desert 5 final. Here, Yo will be able to play the third place match on Sunday, so we'll see who he's up against. He will obviously be up against the loser of MBL and Viper, which will happen next. Either way, that third place match is going to be really good. I don't know what time that is starting, by the way, but I'd like to cover the third place match. So we'll see. But the final I'll definitely cover after the semifinal, which is going to happen next, and that will be MBL Viper. And I think there's a similar conversation there where it feels like Viper is destined to meet Hera in the final. But MBL, man, I don't think people expected him in the semis. The true MBL fanboys were rooting for it and maybe believed. But he went through some big names and went in through some sets as underdogs to make it to the semis. So I'm excited for it. And there's just the resources collected. Again, it was probably one of the least exciting games of the series to close it out, unfortunately. But it was super clean from Hera, as expected. GG.